Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SportsGamer, and welcome back to the Wraparound. My name is Toogie, and this is the show where we take a look at all that the ECL has to offer from our new tier in Neo, the new beginnings, people starting their journeys in the e-hockey world, and of course the dizzying heights of the Elite Division, where the best of the best go toe to toe. And of course, it is a very exciting time here within the ECL. We are approaching the final week of regular season play for our Winter 24 campaign. If you can believe that, it is nearly playoff time, which means now is the perfect time to take a look through everything that is going on, setting the stage for what should be a very exciting week of action to come. But before we get into talking about things on a tier-by-tier basis, we need to mention, of course, a couple of things that are going on. And of course, if you've watched broadcasts over the last few weeks, you would have heard us mention for our Finnish audience the PlayStation Showdown. For those of you on the PS5 side of things, and again, only our Finns for this particular competition. It is going to be a very interesting tournament, to say the least. Starting up this week as well, but it's not too late to get involved. 1v1 and 4v4 formats available. SportsGamer.gg/showdown will bring you to this page and give you all of the information that you need. But again, as you can see, we are starting up very, very soon. So make sure to get involved if you haven't already. But of course, this is not the only tournament that's going to be going on. We have a new tournament to announce, the Leonat e-Hockey Open. This one designed a little bit more for the casual audience or those looking to get involved in the e-hockey scene. Also 1v1 and 4v4 tournament options available. SportsGamer.gg/Leonat will bring you to this page, and you can get involved here in this particular tournament as well, starting up, as you can see, in the new year. So make sure to get involved with these particular tournaments, of course. But with that, we have a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. Let's talk about the ECL's Elite Division, our top tier, the best of the best, going head to head. And this is where things stand as we approach our final week of play. It is Tunnel Vision, our defending champions, again dominated in NHL 23. They are currently top of the table with the top 8 teams on pace to make the playoffs. Again, finishing between 9th and 12th guarantees you safety for our spring season, while 13, 14, and 15 would be in a relegation battle with the Pro Division runner-ups. And of course, the team in 16th automatically relegated. But as you can see here, 22 games for Lextugan, currently in 16th, while a couple of different teams have already finished their 30-game regular season. So we'll take a look at the point pace on the season so far to give us kind of a more accurate picture as to what is going on. And as you can see, that means it's Jypi Vaskala who are currently on pace to take that #1 seed away from Tunnel Vision, 2 games at hand over the defending champions and just 4 points back. Not nearly as big of a problem in terms of overcoming that this year as it would have been in previous seasons due to the 3 points for regulation wins. So despite the fact that Tunnel Vision are on an amazing pace right now, no guarantees that they will be our #1 seed. And of course, Straikers, H-Reds, still within striking distance. They'd need a little bit of help, I would say, through the schedules, but the top 4 looking strong, and what a top 4 that is. But as we go a little bit further down, Mayhems, Radical, Vesa, Pompa, all on pace to be in the playoffs. They're not in a guaranteed spot by any stretch of the imagination. We'll talk about that in a second. And Unwanted as well, 4th on the table right now, but again, one of the teams that has played their full season's worth of games. They are holding on to a playoff spot, by a thread is the best way to put it, because you have the Blackjacks, 6 games at hand. Polski boys, our pro division champions from last season, still 4 games at hand, close to securing a spot and pretty much there in terms of surviving this season and having their spot for spring. They might even be able to sneak into the playoffs by the end of this, which would be a tremendous accomplishment for them. It's really Goons in terms of the teams in safety spots right now that needs to be a little bit worried if the Falun coal miners or Roots can really start in Poggers as well. I mean, again, you talk about that 12 points up for grabs if Roots or Poggers were to be perfect with regulation wins in their last 4 games. They have an opportunity to do so. So nothing exactly set in stone at this point of the season. Going to be very intrigued to see who locks down what spots in the standings. And I mentioned Lex Dugan currently at the bottom of the table, 13 points through 22 games. But we talked about that new point structure. They're not out of it yet. There was a lot of talk about, okay, Lex Dugan, Poggers, who's going to finish at the bottom of the table, some self-deprecating humor along the way. We'll see which team ends up at the bottom. And hey, if your Roots are the Falun coal miners, you can't exactly take this next week off either. No guarantees who will finish at the bottom of the table. Sets the stage, honestly, for an exciting end to this regular season. But let's take a look at some of the numbers here as well. Love to kind of point out who's doing well. And in terms of the top 5 right now in point production, of course, it's Benito. He always seems to be up there. Even if H-Reds aren't exactly at the top of the table, they are top 4. And Benito has been absolutely stellar. 65 points in first place right now, ahead of Leitinen and Vatu, the teammates of Tunnel Vision, tied at 59. And then talk about a story of this season with Unwanted, whether or not they end up making the playoffs or not. We have Leku, who is currently 4th in scoring as a rookie. Player to keep an eye on in the future here. Might as well go down, or might very well go down as the rookie of the season. But as we'll talk about in a second, there's some competition in that regard. And of course, Eki rounds out our top 5. But impressive to see Leku up there. Look at the company that he holds at the moment with some of the other names there. In terms of our top goal scorers as well, big shout out to Koloslav right now. Was plenty of Elite Division experience, but takes a big step up so far through this season. Has competition in the forms of Benito, Leitinen, Eki. Vatu's up there, currently tied on 28 goals with Vera of Radical. So again, the goal scoring race not yet decided either. That does bring us over to our defensemen. Love to give some credit there. And right now it's Landstrom of Jyväskylä, 41 points in 22 games. Very, very solid there. But in second, another member of Unwanted and another rookie as well for this Unwanted team in Kayseri with 39 points at the end of their season. Unwanted, I'm intrigued to see what happens, because when you have players doing this well, a lot of times you have the bigger clubs, the more established elite clubs come knocking for players of this caliber. But man, if you can keep this young core together with these 2 additions, if you don't make the playoffs this year, I could easily see it happening in the future, because again, look at some of the familiar names that are here. King of Apes, Tombo, Domi. I mean, it's incredible company to keep, to say the least. And then, of course, his defensive partner in Unwanted in Snus, 6 goals, leading the way amongst defensemen, although Tony, Carcass, Tapu, well, Tapu doesn't quite have time, 30 games played, but you get the point. There's some good company there, and at least a couple of people who could still very much make the push to take away that top goal scoring crown. And to round out the rookie conversation, because that really was what jumped off the page for me here, you look at goalies, the winningest right now, Kazu of Jyväskylä, Finsere, a former goaltender of the season, up there for H-Reds. Then we have another big rookie in Simbano, who is up there for the Blackjacks. 14 wins, 82.6 save percentage on the season. This has been an awesome rookie class. You have Kosti up there as well in 4th in terms of wins, really in a tie there with Viltsup. You look at the 14, but that was really kind of the takeaway for me, is just how well some of these rookies are doing this season. And of course, in terms of top save percentage for those starters, I mean, we can consider Sibelius as a starter at this point. 12 games played for tunnel vision. And, you know, while he's been viewed as more of a coach in recent memory, yeah, still an elite goaltender to say the least. Kazu up there as well, might just be the favorite for goalie of the season. Pelkinen up there for Radical, over 85% as well. So don't discount anybody, I would say, in regards to who could be the rookie of the season, the goaltender of the season. A lot of close races going on here stats wise, but that is your look at the Elite Division. Let's talk about the ECL's Pro Division, as we have another pretty interesting set of numbers here to take a look at, not only, of course, with standings, but with stats as well. Of course, within our Pro Division, we have the top two groups. And right now, let's focus on group number one. Gotham Knights still at the top, 65 points in 26 games. Not looking like they'll be caught and will be finishing as a number one seed unless something drastic were to happen. Mustakalta, Vizio, Nova up there as well. But it is a relatively close race, as you'll see. We'll go to the points percentage here. It's Gotham Knights again at a 2.5. Only one other team, that being Mustakalta, over a 2.0. But look at this. Hervlev Eagles jump up to third. Rena score from 8th to 4th. So again, it's going to come down to who can make the most of the games at hand moving forward, although it does only change up the seeding that we have. The top 8, as you can see, remain intact. As we get to the 9 through 11 spots, again, these would be the teams that are safe from any kind of relegation battle and would secure their spot in Pro next season. We have Certatalia, Cheeky Grinders, and Deadly Phantoms currently in that mix. And again, you can see the difference in games played. Just 16 for a team like Deadly Phantoms. Vizio already done with their season. So again, time will tell to see how this plays out, as Holkerit, Punakala, Athletic Bulls trying to get back into the mix. It's not too late, but again, with the massive discrepancy in games played, you just don't know how it's going to play out at this stage. And of course, Athletic Bulls still just 14 games played. The bottom two right now, Red Bull, Munich Esports, Ice Baron, Alauf Gaming are bottom two. Still surprised to see the Ice Baron boys here, based off the games I get to call for them on broadcast 2 weeks ago or so, maybe even longer at this point. Time's flying, to say the least. But just the 2 regulation wins surprises me a little bit. I feel like they are capable of more, but it just hasn't clicked for them. It's not too late, of course, to dig yourselves out of that mess, but it's getting close to that standpoint. For Group 2 right now, it is Opera Hockey at the top, Arctic Purification, some of the teams that we have seen in the mix in Pro over the last couple of seasons. Of course, you have Powerhouse, who are in the kind of forfeit role at this stage, so there's only that one extra spot where you just really don't want to finish, as you'll be automatically relegated down. Right now, it is Golden Sticks occupying that position. And of course, as we look at the points percentage, not nearly as drastic of a change here in terms of seeding, just Purification and Arctic, and then Björklöven Esports and Gunners swapping their spots. But it gets a little bit more interesting as you scroll down into the safety and potential relegation positions. As you can see here, it is Xbots down in 13th, Ultimatum kind of drop a little bit. So not the kind of craziest run at this stage in terms of, you know, just how drastically things could change. But you talk about Savalanche, Xbots, Ultimatum. These are teams that could still push clubs like Supernatural for one of those safety positions. But again, Supernatural still have 12 games to go this season. So still a lot to be decided within our Pro tier. But let's take a look at some of the numbers, some of the stats that are out there right now. As you get a look here at the top skaters, Jageri right now, 65 points in 25 games, 34 goals as well, leading the way for Mustakalta. We've seen Nestor on broadcast for Nova in the past, very, very solid player. And of course, in third place, Launanex up there as well for Mustakalta. That has been a great 1-2 punch for that team this season. Some Gotham Knights representation with Rimpe and then Artuzio as well in fifth right now in scoring. But again, that regular season is over with for Vizio as they are looking forward towards the playoffs. Your top goal scorer right now is Rimpe on 40. Yetsu up there with 36. So top goal scorer yet to be decided as well. Keep an eye out on that one. As we look over at the top defensive players, it's a pretty close race, but look at this representation here for Gotham Knights with the elite veteran in Elmari alongside Borjan Dahlin. Gotham Knights, again, we talked about it with the standings, maybe the favorite in pro to make their way up to elites. It's going to take a very strong effort from whoever they run into come playoff time to knock this team off. It's a good mix, of course, with some of that elite division experience, and that's often what propels those pro clubs to the next level. And of course, we have other mentions here. Tansky, Sile, you talk about that elite division experience. Some of these teams have it in spades. We'll see if that translates, though, come playoff time. And of course, for goaltenders, the winningest right now, shout out to the Speedo, maybe the best name in all of pro, up there for Mustakalta with 16 wins. Baronizer up there for Nova as well. But when it comes to save percentage amongst the starters, one person stands out above the rest right now, and that is Sundstrom for Gifu Hockey, nearly an 88% on the season so far. Of course, you could talk about, hey, at 10 games, are we considering that a starter? I mean, obviously, we kind of look for over the halfway point. So next up would be Takedown for Powerhouse HC, someone else to keep an eye on. The only other goaltender right now in terms of that starter category that is over an 87% save percentage. That is your look at our pro division. Again, still a lot to play for and a lot to be decided with a lot of games to be made up for some of these clubs. Let's talk about the light division of the ECL, our third tier, and still a lot to be decided in this particular division as well, even though we are getting close to the end of the regular season. Taking a look at Group 1, surprise, surprise, Hexa Esports still up there as the top dogs. 19 of their 20 wins coming in regulation. Certainly a good way to try and secure yourself that top seed, but man, oh man, do they have some competition. Just 1 point separating themselves and 6 sticks. Misfits, a name, I gotta be honest, I'm not looking forward to potentially calling on a broadcast because that is a tongue twister and a disaster waiting to happen. Almost Famous still very much in the mix as well. Those are the 3 teams over the 2 points per game mark in Group 1 right now. And as you take a look here, via points percentage, not too drastic of changing in terms of seeding. Right now, it is Ace Squad who are done with their 30 games that find themselves perhaps in a little bit of trouble if some of these teams can make up ground with their remaining games. And of course, some teams right now certainly finding themselves in a spot where they don't want to be in. But again, you talk about the teams that are a little bit lower down, trying to get better seeding for playoffs and relegation playoffs. There is still a long way to go there. You look at Northern Dust, just 20 games played, still 10 left. Same for Armada Hockey. There is time to turn it around. As we look at Group 2, as we have Pasalan SKA at the top, 28 games played, Bone Breakers in the mix as well. Toxic City also over that 2 point per game mark right now. But as you would have seen based off of the games played, it is Bone Breakers right now who do kind of control their destiny within Group 2 to be able to take away that top spot if they can make the most of their games. Toxic City still very much in that conversation as well. Will have to play pretty well, though, to make up some of that ground. Again, right now, only 1 regulation win behind Bone Breakers, so there is that opportunity moving forward. And of course, as you go further down into the mix, you can see just how close things are. Really starting with the Icemen here at a 1.38 points per game mark, and just how close things are right now towards the bottom half. Plenty of room for movement throughout the standings as we continue on. I mean, even for the worst team in the group at a 0.92, we scroll back up here and a 0.46 for Dark Energy HC. Not to throw you guys under the bus, but that just shows how close Group 2 has been so far this season. And of course, our third group right now at the top, Neptune Hockey, who have finished up their 30-game regular season. Invasion, Technical Disaster, and Eastman Valinta, all with at least that 2-point per game mark, trying to vie for that top seed. And of course, as you go a little bit further down, you can see some of the drop-offs. I mean, Dompa, basically the walkover team. Deggendorfer, though, at a 0.52 as well. So you can see how close Group 2 happens to be. But as we look at the points percentage, it is Invasion who have the chance. You need 1 point to take that top spot away from Neptune Hockey. Technical Disaster only able to finish with a maximum of 65 points. So that top seed will go to one of these two teams. Obviously, you'd favor Invasion to be able to pick up a point. 7-2-1 in their last 10. More than likely going to get it done. The only drastic change here, though, look at this, from 14th up into one of those higher seeds. Just 18 games played will give you that opportunity to make up ground. We'll see if they're able to do so. A lot of ground to make up, though, as you can see. I mean, especially you talk about the teams that are going to be able to make it into the playoffs, the 3-group system that we have. It is the top 32 teams, though, that do make it into the playoffs. Comes down to seeding, though, and that can be a very important factor in terms of playoff success. Although in the past, in light, we've seen some pretty big upsets. With that, though, taking a look at the top scorers, we talk about Invasion and their chance to step forward here, and Liamovic is right there as a reason why. 84 points, 45 goals on the season. Holy Flyer, Adrift up there as well in the top 3, all with at least 78 points. And of course, A-Squad have finished their season, so you'd expect to see their forward core up there as they have those games at hand, but still very respectable numbers. All 3 primary forwards with at least 71 points on the season. You would like to think, of course, that they'd be able to translate that to the playoffs, but hey, you never know. Keep an eye on them, though. Dangerous group there. Defensively as well, 3 players over 40 points right now. And, man, got to shout him out at this point and butcher the name. I'm going to call him Mayor. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to cop out of the gamer tag at this point. I just got to say, though, 41 points in 22 games, only 1 point behind the leader who has 6 more games played. Don't fail me. That's my request. Lead the way, win the defensive scoring race, and tell me how to say your name correctly. I can give it a try, but as we've learned, I can embarrass myself quite often, and we're trying to avoid that today, as if we haven't already done so. And of course, amongst the goaltenders, the winningest right now, tied at 21 wins apiece. Ranta for the Misfits and Dobby the Joker up there for Invasion. But in terms of the save percentage king, I mean, aside from the real guru on a 97% through 2 games, if you look amongst starters, I'm surprised that one got through. Hell of a name. With a name, playing for a team like Toxic City, though, I'm not really surprised. Still, 90% save percentage to 23 games played. Very well may go down as goaltender of the season. That is your look at our light division. It's an interesting one. Let's take a look at the ECL core division. A lot to look at in this particular division as well. Again, the top 8 from each group making the playoffs of our 4 groups. See, case in point, there's a lot to look at. Let's go back to the very top, though. Group 1 as leading the way. You look at the top 3 teams, of course, over that 2 points per game mark that we look at. Still quite a few games to go here, anywhere from 4 to 6 moving forward. So very intrigued to see who will be able to grab that top spot. But we look down at Mites, who are also over that mark, 7th right now, but 20 games of 30 played. This might be the closest race for the top seed in any group right now in the elite division, or in the elite division, throughout the elite division, even all the way down to our Neo division. So keep an eye out on this one. I'm going to back Mites on this one. I believe in you guys. 6-3-1 in your last 10. You can make up ground. You can get it done. I believe. I mean, you could technically finish with 70 points if you get it done. 10 games, 3 points for regulation wins. Get it done. I believe Mites can do this. But as you can see here, off of points percentage, things do not change too much in terms of seeding. Actually, it stays identical throughout that bottom half of the bracket. But still, you know, you look at points percentage, you're like, okay, that's a pretty big difference. No, I mean, 1 point right now separating 8 and 9. Team Infernus as well, still with 8 games to go, 5 points back and 6 points back respectively in terms of that race. They still very much have an opportunity to make it into the playoffs. We go to Group 2, and again, taking a look here at the top of this division. And actually, I just want to immediately sort, and as you can see, this time out, no real surprise here. We still have the top 3 as it stands, but look at how close this race is. I mean, again, just 5 points separating the top 3 teams here. Still a lot to be decided. All 3 teams winning at least 7 of their last 10 games. Another very, very close race in that way. And of course, you look at the rest of the playoff teams. The only thing changing right now is seeding based off of games played. Prowlers with just 18 games played, so still 12 to go this season. Not in the best form at 5-4-1 right now, but still a team that could make up ground moving forward. But of course, we talk about it, you know, teams that might be able to make up ground. Cape Town Kings 8 points back, 2 games at hand away from a playoff spot. From there, though, going to be a little bit difficult for anybody else to take that step up and make up that ground. And we go to Group 3, where we have 4 teams as well over that 2 point per game mark. Rusty Bulls, who of course have been in the mix in terms of playoffs, you know, last season, this season as well. 22 games played, 44 points. But the Silver Sword Griffins right now, 21 regulation wins. You look at the massive difference in terms of points. Mathematically, it is still possible for either Mambas or United Front to kind of make that jump, but it is very unlikely, especially with the Griffins' current form, 8 wins in their last 10 games. So look forward to seeing them in the playoffs, of course, and perhaps as the number 1 seed in Group 3. But again, you look here, only thing that changes is seeding. You don't really have too much of a difference until right here at the very end, as an opportunity to maybe make up ground. 22 games played, 30 points right now. We'll see what happens. Outside of that, though, you can see kind of the bottom 3 teams very much out of the mix at this point in Group 3 in terms of being able to make it into a playoff situation. And then we, of course, have our 4th and final group. 3 teams over that 2 point per game mark between Bushwhackers, Nameless, and Sack Brothers. And again, still a lot to play for. Sack Brothers, though, just 18 games played at this stage, but on 46 points. Their destiny very much in their hands at this stage in terms of being able to take that top seed in the group. And of course, throughout the rest of the group, you really don't have too much change in terms of the seeding, but still very much up for grabs, those final few spots. I mean, you look at Wildcats, Esports, you know, 6 points back of Palisari, an opportunity to maybe sneak in there. Depends on the form of the teams in front of them, like Palisari, just 3 wins in their last 10 games. So we'll see if they are able to make up that ground. And of course, you had a walkover team in Frenzy that, you know, it's kind of affected things a little bit, but it all evens out in the end. So there you go. That is the standings right now. But let's take a look at these stats, because as always in these lower tiers, there are some impressive numbers. And yeah, to say the least, when you have 4 forwards already over that 90-point mark, scoring race is going to be ridiculous in this division for this season. Not only the points, but in terms of outright goal scorers, we already have 2 over 50 goals. Mr. Xbox on 48, not exactly out of the race, but again, with 2 players over 50 goals on the season so far, very intrigued to see who walks away with that goal scoring crown. So keep an eye out on that one. Defensively, 40 points already through 22 games. But of course, that scoring race very much not done yet either, especially, you know, we talked about the Griffins and what they're able to do. You know, we'll see. we'll see what happens is the only thing that I can say in regards to scoring there. And of course, the goaltenders as well. Always love trying to see just how ridiculous goaltending can be in these lower tiers, because man, sometimes the save percentages get to be up there. In terms of your top save percentage right now, though, you have, I believe it's the Raws 94. Let me know if I'm wrong. For Polar Bears HC, though, 20 games played, 87% on the season right now. So nobody over a 90 like we had in our previous division, but certainly some numbers to keep an eye out on, some players to keep an eye out on, some teams to keep an eye out on throughout our core division. Let's take a look at the ECL's Neo division. Of course, our lowest tier, the entry point into the ECL ladder. And we will take a look at the situation right now throughout these groups. Of course, you scroll all the way down. My goodness, 6 groups, a lot of new teams in the mix here. Starting off, though, at the top of Group 1, it is still Russian Lightning at the top. HC Marco, though, very much in the mix as well. Again, where you want to be at this point in time, so keep an eye out there. We go to the top of Group 2, and right now 3 teams very much in the mix, in approaching the halfway point of the season, so keep an eye out there as well. Love to see these closer races. Group 3, well, you have Urban Evasion just running away with it at this stage. Nobody else over a 2 points per game mark, and they are closing in on nearly 3 points a game. 13 regulation wins out of 16 games played, won 8 of their last 10 games. So keep an eye out on them. They might be the favorites with a Neo in general. Group 4, though, again, another 3 teams, HC Armada, the Arctic Farm team, and Old Hogs in the mix there. We go down to group number 5, and, well, hey, you'll love to see some competition. You talk about a team that might be the favorites. Not quite. 17 regulation wins out of 18 games played for Oviedo. Tremendous. Just, I mean, a tremendous pace, to say the least. 9 wins, of course, in their last 10 as well. And, of course, Torspot, really the only other team that's in the mix right now. Very solid percentage, very solid numbers in the early stages of the season, but or over the halfway point now, we should say. But again, tough when you are in direct competition with a team that is seemingly running away with it. And of course, our final group, another 3 teams that really focus on the real rookies. I would imagine. No, hold on. This might be my favorite logo, is what I'm saying. Shout out to Trailblazers HC as well. I just need to. Come on. It's tough. It's tough to beat a logo like that. I'm just gonna throw that out there. Well done. Well done. That might be my favorite logo within the Neo division. Taking a look at the stats as well. Of course, we always talk about how the scoring can be a bit ridiculous. Urban Evasion probably won't be in Neo for all that long. Someone like Showtime still up there. 93 points in 16 games is just absolutely ridiculous. On the defensive side of things as well, shout out to Planet Drill, 29 points in 12 games played, leading the way right now, and still with more than half a season to go. And of course, for the goaltenders, we talk about those save percentages, and again, still some really solid numbers. The top 2 here, as you can see, both on 89% at this stage of the season, closing in on that 90%, which again is so difficult to attain. But that is your look at the Neo division. So with that, everybody, we will wind things down here for the wraparound. We thank you very much for checking things out. And of course, hey, as always, let me know ways to improve this show. Ways to say names correctly is always fun. Hey, as the veterans of the Elite Division know, it took Sin and I a while, but we get there eventually. You got to give us a chance to succeed. But again, thank you very much for tuning into this show. And of course, as I mentioned right off the top, we are closing in on playoff time, and we'll be right here on the wraparound to talk about everything going on throughout the ECL tiers. For now, make sure, of course, to check out everything that we talked about off the start, the PlayStation Showdown and the Leonot eHockey Open. All the information that you need at sportsgamer.gg. Until next time, thank you very much for watching the wraparound, and we'll see you next time.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Sports Gamer. My name is Tuki, joined, of course, by Mr. Sin for the win. Sin, it is good to be back in the booth with you. It feels like forever. But what a time as well to get back to the action here. Week 5 kicking off today as we are in the home stretch heading towards the postseason.
Yeah, and it seems like the season has just flown by, and well, maybe in some ways it has, because at this point, the points are going to be oh so much more important than they have been throughout the course of the rest of the season. And first matchup, Straikers and Mayhems, it's going to be a dandy.
Absolutely. A big matchup, Straikers and Mayhems kicking us off. And a little bit later on, another pretty important matchup. The Falun coal miners taking on Vesa, Pompa. Some different circumstances for those two teams, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. For now, let's take a look at the standings here, because this is a postseason matchup, potential postseason matchup, a matchup with playoff implications at the very least, as we take a look at where things stand right now. Again, a 30-game regular season. Right now, it is Straikers in third, still very much in the mix for that number 1 seed. They'd have to win both games today in regulation to equalize the tunnel vision score, while Mayhems currently sit in 8th. Obviously, the big X factor in that mix there is Unwanted, having already finished their games. We know they're going to drop. It's just a matter of how far. And Mayhems looking to be one of those teams, causing them to drop and drift towards the very bottom, if not directly out of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Air before this recorded change, some games that have been played. It's one of those things I might have to start running it live to keep it as up to date as possible, because throughout the standings you can see some of the differences. Lextugon 4 points away from catching Poggers, each team with only 4 games left. It's going to be a wild run to the end of the regular season. But with that, let's take a look at the team stats here. Again, for our opening matchup, it is Straikers taking on Mayhems, and look at the numbers here so far. No real surprise to see, both teams over, the positive goal differential mark. For Mayhems, though, it kind of shows like, all right, that's why they're close, but not yet there, while Straikers have looked to still be the powerhouse that we expected them to be so far this season.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of surprising with the numbers that they have to see them in that third spot, but it's close across the board. But in this matchup here, Straikers obviously got to be the clear favorite. Slightly better penalty kill. The special teams overall are pretty even, but it's that goal differential which is the big separator between good teams and the great teams.
Indeed. And of course, you talk about the lineup that they have. Let's get a look at the lineups here in this one. It's an abundance of riches for the Straikers lineup. But on the other side, for this Mayhems team, really stepping up in a very dangerous front three. Tempinen, of course, the 1v1 wizard centered by Profilapaki, and then Koloslav, who enters play today as the leading goal scorer in the elite division. On the other, or I should say on the defensive side of things, not on the other side, but Nati and Pro Arskon defensive Viltsup in goal. But then getting to the other side, the Straikers lineup continues to be interesting. Pico Roger is in alongside Potzloff and Eki, with Pawanso on defense alongside Flyer Kungan. Two of the most notable wingers in Elite Division history as a defense pairing here. And of course, Nike, the big acquisition, he is in goal for this matchup. Let's get to the head-to-head, starting off Profilapaki and Potzloff. And Potzloff's numbers will look as we expect them to look. But Profilapaki this season, certainly no slouch.
No, not at all. And that's kind of one of the good things that's sort of keeping Mayhem's I don't want to say afloat, but I mean, if you're looking at the playoff picture, then it would be keeping them afloat, as they do have quite good of offense. It's been a little bit of the defensive struggles for them, which has slowed them down. But this is a tough matchup for Pro Filipaki. Obviously, Potslav in the head-to-head, he's got the superior face-off percentage. He's got more points in less games played as well. I mean, but this is the test. If you're Mayhems and you want to make the playoffs, you want to have a good run in the playoffs, you got to beat teams like this and beat your one head-to-head matchup like this as well.
Take a look at that winger comparison next. Tempinen and Koloslav. They have both been very, very solid this season. On the other side, Piku Roger, of course, limited to just 10 games so far, but what a performance he has had in those collective 10 games. And of course, alongside Eki, as strong of a forward as you will find in this tier, as expected. I mean, season after season, game after game, he is in that mix.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head with Piku Raja. I mean, the rate that of points being scored, I mean, it's a bit of a pity that he's only been able to suit up for those 10 games, but he has just been such a huge add for this Straikers team. Adds, dare I say, a little bit more youth. I mean, all the guys on Straikers pretty much younger than at least maybe even you too. But I mean, Piku Roger, even above that, he's in that younger tier. And when it comes to the esports athletes, that the younger they have that kind of a higher reflexes and hand-eye coordination and things like that. So he has always been a very, very creative forward, and it's good to see him surrounded by other elite, experienced talent as well. But on that flip side, I mean, Koloslav, like, what a season he's been having. 53 points. He's puts up 110 shots in those 26 games played. Not afraid to shoot, and he's being rewarded with goals. 34.
A breakout season. I mean, someone who has that elite division experience, but especially taking that next step up so far this campaign. Let's take a look at the defensive matchup next. Again, it's an interesting one for Mayhems. We have Nati and Pro Arska, but on the other side, I can't get over how bizarre this is. Pawanso and Flyer Kungan. We know Pawanso's played some forward this season. Of course, Flyer Kungan has shifted back to defense over the last 2 seasons, but Sin, it's one of those things about this lineup. They are essentially playing with 5 forwards. At any time, they can rotate out who's jumping up, who isn't. I don't think there's going to be necessarily the designated defenseman. There's not that one guy carrying the puck into the zone where you're like, okay, we could breathe a little bit. It makes for a very interesting and dangerous lineup from Straikers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious. Obviously, we see the numbers up here. I don't think before now he's played games at defense, but don't have all the information in front of me. But I mean, yeah, it's quite crazy. All the guys on their team essentially have played forward, and a lot of them have also played defense. Now, if you look at it, Puanso, Flyenkungen, Eki, and Potslav all having experience there. It's just a very flexible and versatile roster, as you can see, and we'll have to see how it plays out. Obviously, Nasus Deli have been shoring up that left side for most of the course of the season, so we'll have to see how Puanso fits in right there. And on that flip side, Nati does look quite good. 26 point per game, 206 hits is absolutely unreal.
It certainly showcases kind of the change in physicality and how effective it is in NHL 24 compared to previous games. Our final head-to-head, the battle of the goaltenders, as once again we have Viltsup squaring off with Nike. Of course, Viltsup, the main goaltender for this team, has been in net for every single game so far, whereas Straikers, they have gone with more of the tandem approach, but Nike still with very, very strong numbers. Viltsup's not too far behind.
No, and you can tell by, what the save percentage is, he's doing his part in goal. When you look at the goals against, being one higher than Nike, and then you kind of think back to where the goal differential is for either of these 2 teams, you can kind of see the story being where the overall team defense of Mayhems is just a step below here of Straikers. And, it's that's the one thing. It's the trope of quote unquote defense wins championships. Yeah, you got to play very well on both sides of the puck, and that's the one point where Mayhems has to improve if they want to have a deep run.
So with that, we are just a few moments away from this regular season matchup. Mayhems taking on Strikers with some valuable points up for grabs as Mayhems look to secure their playoff spot and Strikers look to continue to push for that number one seed. And of course, and I mean, again, we kind of mentioned it and we saw it when we took a look at the current standings, just how close we are already. You think for some of these teams, like, oh, we still got 6 games to go. That goes by incredibly quickly. This is the time as if the first half or more of the regular season, as if that doesn't matter enough. This is certainly now the time to really kind of lock in and pick up
Yeah,
those points and try to make sure you end up in the best spot that you can.
definitely. And it would be a huge coup if Mayhems were able to maybe even get 2 wins, depending on how it is. I mean, they need at least one regulation win out of this to really kind of solidify their spot in the left-hand side of the bracket. I mean, the regulation wins this season are so important, obviously, as we switch to that 3-point format. And they're sitting at not a bad place. And like we saw when we took a quick look at the standings, there's a decent cushion between them and the next one, but every single point's important. They have to figure out some kind of way to pick them up, as we are going to be able to throw back there. And not only that, it's more about trying to leapfrog a few people as well. Like if they can leapfrog Radical, maybe even Vesa Pompa, they give themselves that much more of a chance to really be staying on that left-hand side of the bracket.
So, of course, again, we are just a few moments away from puck drop here. We'll keep an eye on everything going on within the Elite Division as the broadcast continues. But here you go. You get a look at the teams in the locker room and pretty much what you would expect, between the playmakers, the Strikers. It looks like they're going to do a little bit of a reset here, unfortunately. But, now that we kind of know, Sin, that's really been the go-to, right? Like last season, NHL 23, oftentimes you'd see mostly puck movers, maybe the playmaker down the middle.
Yeah.
Snipers becoming a little bit more prevalent throughout the lineups, but no real surprise there. Nobody rocking a grinder like we had seen in a matchup last week. But hey, at the very least, if you're talking about teams that going with the meta builds are probably for the best. Yeah, you're going to think teams like Strikers and Mayhems with some of the offensive talent that they have.
Yeah, definitely. And I what I love about rocking that gold 1T sniper on one of the wings is that even if they're not putting up a ton of goals per game, it's the threat, right? It's as much of a mental game as it is as a physical one. And as long as that threat's over there, it's got to be in the back of people's mind that might pull someone over there, that might open up the middle of the ice a little bit more for someone else to attack. And those kind of mind games and things like that are exactly what you expect to see from those top teams in the highest level of play.
Absolutely. So again, these two teams just about ready to go. We'll see if they have rematched up here as again the regular season matchup. 2 games here again later on, as we mentioned, the Falun Coal Miners taking on Vesa Pompa. But for now, we'll see how this one goes. Like we said, it's a big matchup for Strikers trying to keep pace with Tunnel Vision and Yippee Voskala at the top of the board, while Mayhem's trying to secure that postseason spot. As again, just 4 games left for Mayhems here in this season to try and do that. And shout out to the 7 ping, which I'm always jealous of seeing something like that every single time. Speaking of being jealous, though, jealous as well for our Finnish audience, of course, that can take part in the PS5 PlayStation Showdown. SportsGamer.gg/showdown for all the information that you need. Starts up very, very soon. Again, 1v1 and 4v4 formats open and available. Make sure to check it out if you haven't already. The PlayStation Showdown kicking off here very, very soon, as is this first game of the evening. It is game 1, Strikers and Mayhems. Let's see how this one plays out. I think for Mayhems here, Sin, hot start would certainly help.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just gonna say that an early start for them, even if it isn't a goal, just getting some shots on like they did right there and some sustained pressure here. Try to slow down Strikers.
Of Koloslav, who, as you mentioned, the total shots this season, loves to throw the puck on. Kungan looked to do the same. It was knocked away. Tempinen in a bit of space. With going all the way back to the Mayhem zone. Foot race for the puck. The Pico Rogers going to win. It's an in front. Great opportunity on the doorstep for Eki. Now Tempinen trying to break through here. And one of the premier 1v1 players. Great play. Eki just couldn't tuck it home. As Viltsup read it well. Arska. Denopti at the point. Poked away by Eki. And recovered. Has Roger with them and just couldn't get it to the back end. Great opportunities here early on for Straikers. Loose puck recovered by Pico Rogers. Sends it over to the boards. Kungan down low. Good movement here. And it ends up in the back of the net. Potzloff opens up the scoring. Maybe not the way they thought they'd get it, but a great start for Straikers.
Yeah, and it started with a really good in-zone cycle there and the forecheck. They forced that turnover and kept the puck in the zone with that intercept from Piku Roger and then got right back to work. And it's that kind of short side play there. It wasn't the most open pass in the world, but again, that's why you'd see teams continuing to try to move the puck into the middle or towards the net. Sometimes you just get a bounce.
Another goal this season for Potzloff. Make it 24. 23 games. See if he is able to add to that total as the night goes on. There's a huge hit there. Man down for Mayhems. A miscommunication there for Straikers on a broken play. Bail Mayhems out.
Yeah, maybe a bit fortunate right there. That was just a massive collision in the neutral zone. And I'm not too... Yeah, it was indeed an injury. You see him L1ing out of it right there. So something that Mayhems is going to have to deal with. But fortunate for them, it didn't turn into a rush back the other way.
Of course, that was their leading goal scorer, their leading point scorer in Koloslav, he and Eki. Golden helmet wearers for their team. Movement here for Straikers. They finally find space over the blue line. Kungan chips it towards goal. Deflected. Stopped by Viltsup. Alonso looking for space. Couldn't find it. We're already halfway through this first period. Roger goes back to the point. Kungan all the way to the other side. Possession time here for Straikers. Good shot by Eki. But Viltsup read it well.
I mean, they're just right back to work here, hemming in Mayhems. Mayhems had that early little bit of attack in the beginning stages of the period, but since then, it has just been all Straikers here, and they're threatening once again, nearly full pressure.
There it is, off the face-off. Big odd angle one-timer for Eki, but a bad bounce. Send it all the way out of the zone. They ice the puck as well. An unfortunate few moments there for Straikers.
Yeah, I wonder if they're trying to slap pass play and they just maybe miscommunication or something like that. It didn't seem that Eki would be able to get the step.
Shot, rebound, poked out by Kungan. Mayhems to get things back in their favor here. That force across didn't find its intended target. Up ahead for Eki. Avoids most of the contact. Still has possession down low. Piku Roger. The extra effort to get it back down to Eki. All the way to Polanco at the point. Knocked loose. Piku Roger there to assist. Straikers still in control. Otzloff will recover. Eki the one-timer. He scores. Gold 1T on display. Straikers with some great possession work in the attacking zone, and they double up their lead.
Man, they have just continued to look more and more dangerous as this season has gone along. I mean, this work is just so good, like off the half wall, and then Eki finds just the tiniest bit, like soft spot there. Makes no mistake blasting that one home. 2-0 for Straikers.
I mean, it was just beautifully done by Eki to just kind of maneuver around a little bit, find that extra space, make it 30 goals for him on the season. He tries to stay in that top goal-scoring race. Potzloff nearly got it back to him. The Straikers giving Mayhems everything they can handle. From a defensive standpoint. Straikers right now patrolling that blue line well. Mayhems can't find any space. You see the aggressive forecheck as well. Here's Koloslov, gains the zone. Good pick off there by Flyer Kungan. Finds Eki. They drop pass there by Potzloff. Low shot, tip there. Good save by Viltsup. As Tempinen into space, he scores! And some momentum from Mayhems off of a rare mistaken goal by Nikke.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't really expect to see that coming out from Nikke right there, as he has the defenseman with him, cutting off, you know, his ability to go to the forehand or maybe even across. I'm trying to see if maybe the pass was being threatened. Not too much. Yeah, rare mistake. But it's a good transition play from Mayhems, exactly what they needed to just stop all the momentum that Straikers had gained.
Boy, a big goal to get some momentum back here late in the period. 18th of the season for Tempinen. 4 seconds left. Potzloff tried to get back to the forehand. It was all Straikers for the majority of that opening 20 minutes, but Mayhems with a late goal gets some momentum back.
And that's really big for them too, you know. At the end of the day, it's all about the top 2 numbers on the scoreboard, you know, the goals. And so, you know, as much time on attack and shots and threats that Straikers put on there, Mayhems find themselves in a situation where they're only down 1 goal thanks to that late goal. And that's really all they needed. They needed something there to build on at the end of that period. And hopefully they'll be able to make some defensive adjustments to be able to slow down that cycle game of Straikers and that forecheck too. I mean, it was, besides that first little bit of the period and that last transition, Mayhems could not really get out of their zone or through the neutral zone with any semblance of cleanliness whatsoever. And, you know, they somehow managed 3 shots from the brief amount of time that they did have in the zone, but it wasn't a whole heck of a lot. Straikers did such a good job all over the ice, whether it was their forecheck, their pressure in the neutral zone, or at the blue line to stop any of those attempted break-ins from occurring. So if you're Mayhems, you know, you got your work cut out for you, obviously, in the second period. But it's not unobtainable.
We get ready here for the second period. And as always, the action brought to you by our friend Zach Kovalan Lakritzy. A 2-1 lead for Straikers. That first period, 2 goals. Gained that momentum before Tempinen was able to tie it. Another opportunity there for Eki on the 1T. Koloslov tries to work into space. Out-muscled there by Potzloff. Gets it up ahead for Eki. Potzloff back to Eki. Good patience. The shot and a glove save by Viltsup. And, man, the chemistry between Potzloff and Eki and just the protection, the way to get the puck to one another is on full display here. It's beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. Straikers may well be playing the best hockey they've played in a long time together.
Off the face-off. Eki's going to get this loose puck. Alonso's shot blocker saved by Viltsup. Like the approach from Straikers, not afraid to test those angles as Polanco sends a member of the opposition into the bench. It's been a rough night for Koloslov already. Nopti looking to step up into the zone here. Couldn't feather that pass through. Now Eki loses it in that double team pressure. We'll see what Mayhems can do on this breakout. Arska back to Nopti. They are over the line here. One-timer and a good save there by Nikke. Alonso, good patience. Potzloff for Piku Roger. Bumped off. Potzloff scores, but it is going to be reviewed. He got that big speed burst from picking it up. Tried to go backhand. I don't really see, I mean, unless it didn't go in clean, I don't really see why it would be called off.
Yeah, I didn't see a whole lot of contact.
Maybe a kick?
Yeah, I guess they're looking for a kick, maybe. Like, the puck did go in quite late, but we'll have to... Okay, no, they're ruling it interference on with the goaltender, so there was indeed enough contact, I guess.
Wake-up call for Mayhems, perhaps, as Straikers nearly reestablished that 2-goal lead. Tempinin down low. Olaslav able to gain the line, sends it around, read well by Flyer Kungan, handles it quickly. Piku Roger has it knocked away. He's in a foot race. Great shot there by Koloslav. Tempinin and Koloslav work together. Koloslav, the shot just missed. Back, loose puck, poked away. Piku Roger played it perfectly. Breakaway and scores. Limited game time this season, but he is on fire when he plays. Straikers back up by 2.
Yeah, just a brilliant job by him to force that loose, and then just all alone right there. You said it. He absolutely played it perfectly right there. Both of them were going for that loose puck, and he's the one that is able to come away with it and off to the races. I mean, no one was even close to him. Had all day to make a move, and he put it by Viltsup.
We continue on here. All 3 forwards for Straikers in this one with a goal. And speaking of goals, Olaslav adds to his tally. And we'll get another look at this one.
How did he squeeze that in there? I have no idea how he did that. It's a heck of a shot, but it looked like Nike had, you know, the angles quite well. Maybe he was down early, but that's an incredible shot. I mean, hats off to Koloslav there.
Huh. I think is the best response at this point. I mean, goal's a goal if you're Mayhems. Olaslav, 35 now on the season. It's again a 1-goal game as Mayhems are finding ways to hang around in this one. As Aki gets wiped out there, couldn't make the play down the wall. Tempinin has it poked away. 7 minutes to go. Again, just the first game between the two. Regular season matchup. Pro Filipaki into the attacking zone. Quick movements. Shot just doesn't get through. Here's Tempinin. Good block for save by Nike. Copy back to Tempinin. Loose puck recovered by Straikers. Down the other way. Piku Roger with speed. Sealed out ultimately by Tempinin. Now Koloslav with some space to work with. Got it towards goal. Kicked out by Nike. Straikers again looking to find space. Aki, good patience, throws it on. Good opportunity again with Potzloff in front. Tempinin. In pass, great glove save by Nike. Makes up for a prior mistake or two. Denies Koloslav on the 1T.
That was an unreal stop from Nike. Just able to slide enough that he was able to stretch out and get the glove on it. Sure, Koloslav's looking up to the ceiling after that one.
Player like that, you'd think for sure he'd find the back of the net. Nike says no. Maybe evened out. You know, you could argue, well, did he really deserve the one that he did score on? Well, he didn't get the one that you would certainly bank on him getting. Offside call here, just 1:12 to go in the second period.
Yeah, so Mayhems have done a bit of a better job in this period, sort of limiting Straikers' chances here, but at the flip side, you know, Straikers is continuing to get the better of the play, but Mayhem's still hanging around, man, only down by 1.
Zaki still has it, couldn't find Piku Roger in time. Those two continue to work together down low. Potzloff to the point, 7 seconds. Zaki, short angle shot, gave Viltsup some trouble, but he's able to keep that puck out.
And there's enough time, more than enough time for a face-off play here. 4.7 seconds, so we'll see what Straikers have up their sleeves as Potzloff's able to win it.
Tempinen tries to kill some time here, and does. It'll be a 1-goal lead through 40 minutes. As again, Mayhems continue to hang around. Game far from over.
Definitely. And, you know, again, they had a slightly better period, but they are still, for the most part, being outplayed. Straikers' work in the offensive end is just phenomenal. I mean, really, that's the only way to describe it here. But I mean, it's hard to say they're not getting the goal support, but it's just they cannot seem to pull away from Mayhems. As we said, they just keep hanging around. Straikers nearly doubling them on shots, more than doubling them on time and attack, more efficient passing. The face-off battle has been pretty even, so good job by Profalapaki to be doing some of that. But at the same time here, Mayhem's gonna need a little bit of something more here if they want to pick up the win, but more importantly, pick it up in regulation rather than in overtime. But at this point, I'm sure they'd be probably more than satisfied with any sort of points, but they're still gonna have to, you know, come out strong here in this third period.
Here we go. The action resumes. Again, 3 points for a regulation win up for grabs here. Both teams have their sights set on the maximum return that they can get from these two games. Good shove there by Eki. The shot on, blocked by a defender. You can see that forechecking pressure. The active sticks in the attacking zone, causing mayhem for Mayhems. Roger can't get it through. Nati nearly with some friendly fire. Puck goes back to the neutral zone. Rare mistake there from Straikers in this one. Offside.
And pretty sure Nati's going for a bump right there, as he was hoping that just in case that pass indeed went all the way through and connected, but ends up shooting it on his own goaltender. Yeah, goaltenders, you know, not only have to deal with the enemy shooting at them, sometimes your teammates as well.
Profalapaki up ahead. Nati over the line. The defender still has it. Down low. They score! Another incredibly bizarre goal for Mayhems as Tempinen ties this game up.
I wish my buffered shots would get rewarded like that. That is incredible. It bounces 3 times off of Nike, his skate, his leg, his backside, and then into the back of the net. Not much to break down from that, but it's a tie game. Mayhems, go buy some lottery tickets.
We are tied at 3 goals apiece in incredibly bizarre circumstances. And that had to be the fear for Straikers, that Mayhems are doing a good job of kind of hanging around. Battle for the puck. Pika Roger gets it towards goal. Chips up over the top of the net. Eki to Pawanso. Back down low. Good movement. Good zone time. Pawanso for flyer. Kungan deflected. Glove save by Viltsup.
Wow. That's exactly the sort of save that they needed right there. That's a great play from Straikers there, finding the gap from the point to get that shooting lane, and the deflection was perfect, and Viltsup just got the glove on it.
Full pressure here for Straikers as Tempinen unable to clear the zone. One-timer for Eki doesn't go. Pika Roger loses it. Tempinen for Kolaslav. They're going to clear the zone here. Full pressure alleviated, but here's Pika Roger. 2-on-1, sends it across for Eki. Just ran out of room. Pawanso tried that quick one-touch pass. Pika Roger down low for Potzlov. Regain the zone, and the rocketed pass misses its mark. Strikers looking to reestablish the lead. And a penalty called here for the trip. Kolaslav going to the box. Let's get another look at it.
Yeah, it was in the neutral zone as the pass was made up to, I believe, Piku Raja right there. He just got caught flat-footed. and you can't really afford to do that on the rush, especially there in front of your own blue line as well. So big power play opportunity for Straikers.
The early clear back to the neutral zone. Communication here at the line. Straikers finally do regain the zone. Potzloff for Pawanso. Back to Potzloff. Blocked Eki. The chance doesn't go. It looked like Viltsup was down and out, and that poke check clears the zone just out of the reach of Flyer Kungan.
I can't believe, and I'm sure he can't either, how he didn't get the pickup animation on that one. It was so close.
Dropped back. That one stopped as well by Viltsup. And Arska is able to clear. 15 seconds to go on the man advantage. Pika Roger breaks through, and he's denied this time by Viltsup. The pass in front, and they score. Piku Roger never gave up on the play, and Eki once again, right place, right time.
That is a beautiful play by Piku Roger. The headman pass was beautiful as well. Shout out to, I think that would have been Pawanso who did that. I can't exactly remember, but yeah, you said it. Gets beat on the breakaway, then smartly retrieves the puck, feeds it right back in front of the net, and it goes right to Eki's stick, who has body position and puts it home. The lead established once again for Straikers, but we'll see if Mayhems has another answer.
I don't think they're going to be happy with a 1-goal lead.
No.
How this game has gone. We'll see if Mayhems has yet another response in store. Straikers yet to trail in this game. Mayhems, you have 5 minutes to work here. Now still having trouble. I mean, talk about a weak side lock. I mean, right now, they are causing all sorts of trouble for Mayhems on the attempted break-ins, as Dempinen's going to slow things down. Arska can't get the pass through Pika Roger. Here goes Eki working with Potzloff. Already 2 minutes off the clock, and Mayhems haven't been able to gain the attacking zone. Koloslav for Profilipaki. Can't hold on to it. Koloslav battling with it. Gets it away. In front. Profilipaki can't pull the trigger on the shot. Arska for Nati. The shot deflected just wide. Dempinen in the corner as we approach the final minute. Gets it back. Nearly in front. Trouble for Potzloff. Doesn't go. Now Piku Roger. 25 seconds left. Goes all the way back to Flyer Kungan, who chips it down low. Mayhem's running out of time. As Viltsup heads to the bench. Nati to Profilipaki. Koloslav! The net was empty, but the shot's blocked. And there will be a penalty called on an attempted one-timer. Profilipaki goes for interference.
And that is heartbreaking. Yeah, he had Nike dead to rights when that puck went over there, and what a block.
It goes from bad to worse for Mayhems. Just 15 seconds to work. As Nati, the Hail Mary pass doesn't go. Potzloff for Eki. Eki all the way around. Will look to kill it, and open net for Potzloff. Does not go, but they did not need it. Straikers with a big 3 points here. 4-3 the final score.
A hard-fought 3 points at that, too. And when this game started, it didn't seem like it was going to go that way. But Mayhems continued to battle back and just kept getting goals, kept staying pace. And then at one point, tied it with Straikers, who found that late go-ahead goal off a brilliant play by Piku Rogers. You're getting a look. I believe that's the game winner right there. Just beautifully done by him. And Straikers, as you said, coming away with the huge 3 points.
Well, again, a look here, of course, at some of the final numbers, the stat line as well. It was a bizarre game. Mayhems finding a way to stay in it. But ultimately, Straikers battle their way through, get the big 3 points, still on pace to battle for that number 1 seed. As you get a look there, I mean, Sin more than doubled up with shots, time on attack. I mean, from a statistical standpoint, Straikers winning a game that they deserve to win.
Definitely, and that's when that's when if they lose that game, that's one of those pictures that gets posted on Twitter, with all the shots, time, and attack, and you somehow losing the game and stuff like that. Fortunately for them, they were able to get that. That was just such a beautiful play, that one timer. And yeah, this is the one. Is this the first one? Yes, indeed. That's the one. Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate. He comes off the post just enough and allows that one to go home on the short side off his blocker, no less here. And there's that first one from PQ Roger, just all alone. I mean, he's scoring the goal while the defender is still coming at the hash mark. So it just gives you a little bit of an idea of how much time and space. And yeah, this is what I wanted to see the most. That is sick. I mean, that is a snipe and a half from Coleslav.
We get a look here at maybe even the more bizarre goal. Like Sin said, 3 points of deflection, side of the net, I believe, leg, and then the ample posterior of Nikkei as it ends up in the back of the net. But ultimately, you see a goal from Eki. 4-3, the final score. A big 3 points for Straikers. But again, we still have another game coming up between these two teams. So stick with us, and we will be back in just a few moments.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody, we are back. A big thank you for sticking with us as we get ready to go for the second game between Mayhems and Straikers. But before that, let's take a look at the updated standings now that that result is filed in to take a look at the picture here. As you can see, Straikers now up to 53 points in 23 games played. They will jump Yippee Voskala if they are able to win this next game in regulation, as it is a 3-horse race at the top of the standings. H-Reds, you could argue, still within striking distance, very much going to finish in the top 4, but that's a team that's at least keeping the other teams on their toes, because if you slip up, H-Reds could catch you.
Yeah, absolutely. And they have to be a threat, you know, even though they started pretty shaky in at least in the early goings in this season, right? Like they've really gotten going and picked up those major regulation wins and things like that. So, and they still have plenty of games in hand as well. 8 games in hand. I mean, they should be able to make their way into that top 4. I mean it's pretty much a guarantee at this point, maybe even into the top 3 if, you know, as you said, maybe Straikers or Uoskila slip up.
Most amount of games remaining for a team in the Elite Division this season, still with 8 games to go. For now, we get a look here at the teams in the matchup, and of course, no changes to any builds you really wouldn't expect it from these two teams. You know, they're going to go what they're comfortable and confident with. So with that, we are just about ready to go. A reminder, though, this upcoming Wednesday, we'll be back with more Elite Division coverage. And how about this for matchups? Mayhems will finish up their season against Tunnel Vision, and Yippee Voskala take on H-Reds. So you talk about H-Reds having that chance to step up. Well, they'll get the chance with one of those teams they are trying to catch, as we have, again, 2 big matchups as we cap off the regular season again this Wednesday. Make sure to tune in for that. But for now, we focus on the task at hand. It is Straikers and Mayhems, the second game between these two clubs. Let's see what happens here. Sim, we talked about a hot start for Mayhems being important in the last game. That point only amplified for this one, and they have an opportunity here for Tempinen. Nearly broke his way through.
And once again, Nikkei slid over to the left right there. I'm not going to say he's, you know, completely uncomfortable, but a little bit more nervous movement than we're used to seeing.
Roger tested the short side. Viltsup able to keep that one out. Throw for Lopaki for Tempinen. Great feed to Kolaslav. Couldn't get the shot off. Tempinen down low. Finds Kolaslav again. Ends up all the way behind the back of the net and rocketed out of the zone. So again, you can see Tempinen, when he has time and space, his vision for the game. I mean, Sim, we saw that very much on display in the 1v1 finals earlier this year for the 23 season. Very, very dangerous player, as Nati has trouble with an equally as dangerous player in the form of Eki. Pick off there by Tempinen. And again, for Mayhems, this has been the theme, trying to deal with the lack of space on these breakouts. And again, Straikers force the turnover. Piku Roger back across. Great chance for Potzloff. Flyer Kungan, great patience at the point. Potzloff. Back to Pawanso. Down low, Piku Roger in front for Eki. Full pressure, Profilipaki picks it off. Flyer Kungan able to keep it alive. Eki can't get the shot off clean. Good job by Tempinen. They clear that full pressure. Here comes Straikers, though, and Eki scores! He sneaks it home, and Straikers grab the lead here early in Game 2.
There's that flexibility and versatility we talked about in the pregame. That's Flyer Kunging jumping up into the play there and just straight lining it to give the space and passing before the defender was, you know, in his slide and maybe even ahead of it as well. I mean, that's just a brilliant play by Flyer Kunging. It's always best to pass that puck maybe a little earlier than you think, because more than likely that defenseman, if he does go into that desperation play on the 2-on-1, is going to do it as late as possible.
Yet another goal for Eki here in this matchup. Not mistaken, that's now 32 on the season. Third goal of the night. I think he had 2 in the first matchup. So, I mean,
you're right.
We talked about Koloslav being up there as a leading goal scorer on 35. Eki is very much in the race to take the leading scorer crown as a loose puck battled for. Viltsa finally able to cover that one with Potzlaff on the doorstep.
Yeah, I think Pika Roger may have been looking to give Eki another one right there, as both he and Potzlaff were in front of the net, though of course Eki has that one time.
Face off. Mayhems able to recover. Not for long. Flyer Kunging. Down for Potzlaff. Eki's covering at the point. Of course, we've seen him play right D for this team. Potzlaff's played defense with this team as well. I mean, essentially, everybody but Pika Roger in this lineup has experience now playing defense in the elite division. Alonso nearly got that through. Good pick off by Nati, who steps up into the zone. Koloslav for Tempinen. Good kick save by Nike. Nati again at the point. Throws it on. Couldn't get through the traffic. Eki back for Potzlaff. Potzlaff down low. His options. Waits for Eki. Tries the odd angle. Stopped by Viltsa. Good pick off there by Flyer Kunging. Roger burst of speed. Couldn't find the pass. Picks it off again. Eki the 1T. Didn't get all of it. And Viltsa gloves it.
And once again, those Straikers are buzzing. And you see Mayhems having such trouble clearing it out of their zone. And when they do, they have trouble in the neutral zone. They often turn it over, which continues to feed Straikers' attack.
Arska for Pro Filipaki. We approach the final minute of the period. Eki picks that one off. Piku Roger laid out. Physicality of Nati on display. Flyer Kunging made a mistake. Koloslav threw it off the side of the cage. They still have time. Tempinen for Koloslav. Goes through. Slot there. Nearly clipped the blue paint. Tempinen's shot deflects away. And Mayhems with a good flurry at the end of the period, but unable to find a goal. We'll get a look at some of the physicality here, but Straikers have the lead.
Yeah, and much as it was in the last game, it's a 1-goal lead, but this time, you know, Mayhems weren't able to get one, and Straikers were only able to get the lone goal here, but they do have the lead. They are in that advantageous position. I don't know if it's as dominant as a first that they had last time. We'll have to, you know, get the numbers, but by vibes in my eye test, I don't think it was as dominant. It was pretty close. Actually, when you're looking at it, just a little less shots, I think. But again, they have the edge, and they're just such a good team with the puck. And especially now, as they continue to adjust to NHL 24. I mean, they are dangerous in everywhere right now. What's impressing me the most, besides that cycle, is their ability to continue to feed that game by turning it over in the neutral zone, by holding their blue line. They're not sacrificing a thing while keeping a good forecheck going, and that is so hard to do. Your communication has to be on point.
So here we go. Yeah, the action continues there. Double-clicked my mute button. Happens to the best of us. We, of course, want to mention that the action here is always brought to you by our friends at Kovalon Lockety, by the way. We continue on. Talk about Marathon Mondays. I think it's Manic Mondays for both of us here. Pro Arska able to pick this one off. Koloslav gets it down the boards. Tempinen a little bit of space. Mayhems find their breakthrough. The answer, at least on this attempt, is no. Space there. Shoot for Piku Roger. Couldn't find the back of the net. Opportunity again. Unbelievable! You will be hard-pressed to find a nicer team effort than that in a pro setting. Straikers add to their lead. That was absolutely disgusting.
Filth. Just plain filth off of that tic-tac passing play. I mean, every single one of them touched it. I believe one of them touched it twice. I mean, that was just so sick. And that's the extent of my analysis. Very professional, but I'm still amazed that they just pulled that off.
They might not be done, and they score again! Eki has another one as Straikers starting to run away with it here early in the second period. 2 absolutely filthy goals as we'll get another look at this in the backhand finish.
I mean, beautiful job right there. I love how he kind of goes to the backhand there and then shoots it. You don't often see that from players. You know, if they go to the backhand, it's usually because they're baiting out a pass, but he saw the open glove side and just said, okay, I'll take this, and he buries it. 3-0 now for Straikers, not even midway through the second.
Eki continues his charge up the goal-scoring leaderboard. And Straikers just 2 tremendous goals. I mean, especially that second one. My goodness, the full team efforts. Catches you off guard almost to see a play that nice. I mean, all 3 forwards involved. Especially, too, I mean, for Piku Roger, again, this is just his 12th game of the season for Straikers. The chemistry on full display, of course. Yeah, they have a little bit more than just 12 games together, but still. Boleslav gets this one. Mayhems can't totally count them out yet. But if there is a next goal, it certainly needs to be theirs. And it almost wasn't, as Potzlov nearly on the receiving end of that breakaway pass. Again, that full forechecking pressure. I mean, Eki has just been a menace tonight, an absolute menace. Active stick, the bumps in the attacking zone. It's what led to his last goal. There's a man playing with confidence here. Flyer Kungen throws one on, paddled away by Vesa. Flyer Kungen, that shot deflected just wide. And a huge hip check by Potzlov. Full pressure here. Piku Roger couldn't catch Vesa on the lateral movement. Here's Tempinen, but we know, yeah, he's going to gas out fast because of full pressure. Down the other way. Flyer Kungen gets leveled on a suicide.
I mean, he basically got hit by 2 people, sandwiched Baths Brothers style.
Azarska. Ati throws one towards goal. Tempinen able to recover that loose puck. Kicks back to the point. Ati sends it back down to him. Profilipaki nowhere to go. Profilipaki again. I think for Mayhems, simplifying their time in the attacking zone would benefit them greatly. Flyer Kungen avoids trouble. Eki for Piku Roger. Potzlov's there as well. Potzlov to Eki at the point. Turns it over though. Good pick off by Tempinen. Boleslav can't beat his way through. Brought back to Piku Roger. Final 2 minutes of the period. Errant pass. They do recover possession. Deflection. Good save. Builds up denying Potzlov yet again. Nati stepping up. The force across. Read well by Flyer Kungen. Nati sends it down low. Final few moments of the period. Poked away by Piku Rogers. 6 seconds to work with. Drop pass. Will end up with Flyer Kungen, who throws it on net. He scores! It goes from bad to worse for Mayhems. Straikers make it 4. Eat your heart out, Jeff Skinner.
Yeah, heck of a dance right there from Flyer Kungen, and bit of a bounce. I'm pretty sure that's a saucer pass goal, and that always hurts for the goalie, I'm sure, when it goes in. But if you're Flyer Kungen, you are loving it right now. If you're Straikers, you are loving it. 4-0, and that's the way it will. The second period will end, and they are firmly in the driver's seat. We saw last game, Mayhems continued to just stick around. They were able to find some of the goals, some of them coming fortuitously, maybe one off an interesting bounce. Well, now it's seeming like Straikers get the better of the play, and they're starting to get bounces as well, and that may just spell the doom for Mayhems in this one. They're going to be hard-pressed to come back from 4 down in the third with the way Straikers has been playing. I mean, just so fluid as a team, and yeah, if you're Mayhems too, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier. You can't have that time in the zone with only 2 shots to your credit. I would definitely say that they're overpassing, probably overthinking a little bit right now as well. And it's may indeed lead to their demise and getting 0 points out of tonight, which is not what you want to see when you're in that 8th seed.
See if they can pull off a big time comeback here. Never say never in the Elite Division. Straikers, though, 20 minutes away from a 6-for-6 night in regards to points, which again would push them ahead of Yippee Voskala and into a tie with Tunnel Vision at the top of the board. Admittedly not sure where the goal differential would be right now, and it might not even be worth calculating the tiebreakers. As Philtsup nearly hands Straikers a 5th. Pico Roger has to go off the post and all the way out of play.
Yeah, it just seems like this year the goalies are so much more willing to throw it out, and it must be something to do with the pressure system and then wanting to try to avoid that. I always think it could be more harm than good, and right there it almost came out really bad for them.
Drop from Flyer Kungen. Nearly full pressure again here. Arska find that breakout pass. Koloslav finds Tempinen, tries the short side shot. A little bit of trouble for Nike. Puck still loose. Back to Arska at the point. Poked away, but recovered. Tempinen, a lot of traffic. That backhand goes wide. See Mayhems amplifying that attacking pressure. Straikers able to survive. Potzloff gets it to Pika Roger. He scores! And what can you say? The ruthless efficiency here from Straikers. Fortunate bounces, perhaps, but they are not making mistakes in the aftermath.
They simply aren't, and such high skill coming out. I mean, Piku Roger is just such a slippery player with the sticks. I mean, you saw it right there. Just quick stick handling, putting it home on the back end. Just the sheer skill level from the front three. I mean, the whole team. As the team as a whole, just insane skill. But that front three especially, they hit another.
In terms of ruthless efficiency, Sin, I don't think it's summed up better than that. Scoring while you're still recapping the prior goal.
Yeah.
What more can you say, right?
Sick play. I mean, the spinorama pass. I've always loved that play. I mean, not only does it look good, but it serves a very distinct purpose to open up a different angle on that pass, and you see it work to perfection right there. 6-0 now for Straikers. I hear the boobers.
Yeah, very much so. Certainly not the game we were expecting to see. Koloslav, the best chance of the game for Mayhems. Nike makes the save. And man, if you're Mayhems, this is going to be tough. You still got 13 minutes to go in a game that I'm sure you wish was just over at this stage. I mean, again,
yeah,
I don't think anyone predicted a 6-0 lead in this battle of potential playoff teams.
Now, there's a glimmer of hope, a tiny pinprick of a light at the end of a tunnel going into the third period. But at this point, 6 down, I don't think so, especially with, just the 30 seconds real time instead of the minute.
Tempinen glove save for Nike. One worked back. Good movement here for Mayhems. Short angle shot. Arska, another chance. As Nike making saves. Full pressure for the first time for Mayhems. Piku Roger trying to just dangle his way through. Boleslav for Tempinin. That one doesn't go either. 9.5 minutes left. And mistimed at the line there for Straikers. One of the few times in this game.
Yeah, and that's a really good play by Piku Roger, going back to that attempted kind of deking right there, because he doesn't have the speed. When you use those one-touch dekes, it actually moves you faster than if you're skating with that pressure too. So if he's just trying to move laterally, trying to buy some time, let the pressure wear off, and just try to maintain possession of that puck. It didn't work, but it's a good attempt.
Great block there by Flyer Kungan. Face now, Piku Roger nearly gets the shot off. Defense just recovered in time. And Straikers going to work in the attacking zone. Eki for Piku Roger, it's blocked. And this has just been a tremendous night for Straikers, certainly. And to have that positive momentum heading towards postseason play as well. A team that's been working on battling their way back to the mountaintop for a few seasons now. They've gotten close.
A couple games.
And with it, the depth within this lineup.
Yeah.
They have as good of a chance as anybody this season. Not the shot. That one stopped. Just 3 minutes to go. Again, this is just our first matchup on this broadcast. Coming up, the Falun Coal Miners taking on Vesa Pompa. Piku Roger. He's gross in the best way.
So gross. Yeah, I mean, that was 3 different one-touch dekes that he just pulled off. Oh, Boleslav, not to be outdone, does it and almost picks the corner.
You gotta have fun with it when the score line is this one-sided. Offside's the call with 25 seconds to go.
Yeah, he said, you're not the only one who could do that, kid.
So again, it will be, it's a 6-0 lead. It's a 6-point night for Straikers. A huge result for them. As for Mayhems, I would say still very much likely to make the playoffs. Of course, the extra move from Eki. That puck still in a dangerous area. Finally, Viltsup able to cover. Not the night Mayhems wanted. Definitely the night that Straikers were looking for. A shutout victory. His 3rd of the season for Nike. And a gigantic result for Straikers. Again, that much closer to perhaps securing that #1 seed in the playoffs.
Yep, 6 out of 6 points. This is exactly what the doctor ordered for them. That first game, little bit scary there. I mean, they were the better team, sure, but Mayhems continued to just stick around right there, and Straikers was able to kind of squeeze a loss out of that situation. But this one, zero mistake. I mean, dominant from start to finish, and they got every single goal that they pretty much had a chance on. I mean, in that one, Viltsup didn't have as many huge saves, but the chances that he was facing, I mean, you can't expect a goaltender to save any of those with any sort of regularity. It's just so tough. But what a game for Straikers, man. And I had a bit of everything. Crazy good goals, high skill, and some fun at the end.
You got to look there at the final numbers. And again, the shot differential, nearly 2.5 minutes more of time on attack, but more than doubling them up in terms of shots. For Mayhems, they just really couldn't get it going. That's the big story, I think, for Straikers here. As much as the offensive skill was on display, maybe some lucky, fortunate bounces. I'm sure you're going to feel that way if you're Mayhems, that you were hard pressed by the game itself. But Straikers found so much success. What a play! My goodness. Straikers found so much success in this game on the forecheck and just not giving in. keeping that pressure going, active sticks, physicality. And there was that extra goal from Eki. And again, that started from a bump. We're not going to see it, but it was a bump to knock Koloslav off the puck by Eki, and then he ends up getting the goal.
Yeah, he was just so good everywhere on the ice, but particularly on the forecheck. And I mean, that's just what you have to do now as wingers. I used to talk about another player on this team when he was on a previous team as one I thought was the best forechecking winger of the time, and that was Flyer Kungen, simply because of how deadly he was with that defensive skill stick on the forecheck. And now you're seeing what Eki's doing in this one. And I mean, in the realm of NHL 24, with the bumps now being what they are, with the, you have to time those defensive skill sticks a little bit better as well at times. I mean, he is just, you said it, he's an absolute menace on the forecheck, and it leads to offense.
I think we are done with the replays there. Quite a few goals to go over, but with that, our first series in the books. Again, a huge result for Straikers. 6 points on the night, tied in points at the top of the standings as things are. But again, we still have another matchup to come. Falun Coal Miners taking on Vesa Pompa. Some big implications in terms of that same standings leaderboard, of course. We'll talk about all of that and set the stage for you on the other side of this break. So stick with us. We'll be right back.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody, we are back. A big thank you for sticking with us here at SportsGamer as we continue our coverage of the ECL's Elite Division. Again, the final week of the regular season and in our first matchup in the books. We switch our sights now to this matchup between Vesa Pompa and the Falun coal miners. An interesting one at this stage of the season, as we'll see when we look at the standings in a moment.
Yeah, as you know, Vesa Pompa currently finding themselves in not so bad of a position, and Falun coal miners, on the other hand, probably less than ideal. Is what you could say about it. They are in one of those relegation positions currently, but they do have 6 games in hand, and Goons is sitting there having already played all of their games. It's going to be tough to pass them. You need 10 points, but with the 3-game point structure, it is possible. And I'm sure Falun coal miners are going to be looked to doing just that. And starting off in this one, it's going to be tough against Vesa Pompa, but you need to get some kind of points or else you may just find yourselves having a battle for your spot in the Elite Division.
Exactly. The 13 through 15 positions have to battle with Pro Division clubs to keep their spot in the Elite Division. 16th automatically relegated. We'll see what happens with Lextugan. And of course, really anybody in that bottom 4 could find themselves being that unfortunate team in 16th. Vesa Pompa, on the other hand, currently in 7th, trying to secure themselves a playoff spot here today. They can still be pressured by the likes of Polsky boys, the Blackjacks, even Hamos still within striking distance technically, as if they were to win their final 4 games. Of course, that's an extra 12 points in the bag for them. So, you know, Vesa Pompa, you got to be careful at this stage of the season, but a great opportunity for them here. With that, we'll take a look at the numbers for these two teams heading in to this particular matchup. And, well, Sim, with a goal differential like that for the Falun coal miners, the fact that we're not talking about guaranteed relegation is a positive.
Yes. I was shocked actually when that popped up and I saw what that was. They need to find some offense, plain and simple. I mean, it seems like with a differential like that, the games that they've won by the skin of their teeth, and probably have been getting, you know, god tier goaltending from one of their 2 goaltenders. That's just not good. You have to find a way to put some goals up here, and they've got to find a way to do it against a Vesa Pompa team, which is currently in a playoff position.
And looking good at that, too. I mean, we saw, you know, the Mayhems goal differential heading into the action. Well, this time out, I mean, Vesa Pompa kind of in a similar spot in the standings, yet, well, here they are, as close as they are at this point in time. But with that, let's take a look at the lineups for this one. We get ready again for the 2-game regular season matchup between Vesa Pompa and the Falun coal miners. As for Vesa Pompa, Antonio Mountain, Ekin, and Zovi, the front 3. We're going with Poppin this time out. Don't worry about it. Sin next to Semi Larson on defense and Kosti between the pipes. On the other side, I'm excited for this. Aaron's Jay Toro at center and Fopa Toflin on the right wing, with Furion and Martindale on defense and Ellie Kamel between the pipes. Let's take a look at the center comparison, as we have Ekin, a very experienced center within the Elite Division, taking on Jay Toro, known as a defender. And as you can see, has yet to take a face-off this season.
Maybe he's played a game at wing, but I'm pretty sure he's played everything on defense. Although looking at the games played for the defenders, I'm not too sure. He must have played wing at some point. Well, who's to say? He's playing center and has, as you said, yet to take a face-off, has 11 points in 16 games played, and Ekin is doing pretty good. He's got a good face-off percentage, 35 points in those 26 game played. Has been solid, maybe not as dominant as we've seen from in the past and necessarily what we expected here.
Trying to look it up here, the J Toro positions played for this season, but still, hey, you never know. Sometimes people make that jump and it works out quite well. We will see what happens here. And honestly, I did look it up. His most recently played games, I'm seeing nothing but lefty for him so far this season. So this is throwing something different at the wall to see if it sticks for the Falun coal miners. And this is the time of season and the situation that they're in to do something like that. We'll see if it works out. We'll look over at the winger comparison here next, as again, we have Antonio Mannon and Zovi going up against Aaron's and Pompa Toflin. And again, decent numbers for the Falun coal miners duo given the circumstances that they're in. But man, are they up against a pretty dynamic duo on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, Antonio, this has been, I mean, it's hard to say a breakout year. He's been around for so long, has been playing, once he transitioned to playing wing, he's been quite good, but he hasn't had this sort of a performance yet. He's always been solid, always been point per game higher. But the fact of the matter is, this is really the first year where he's turned into a prolific goal scorer. It seems like this is his his final evolution of transitioning from defense to winger, and then has a playmaker at first, and now he's just a threat and the biggest goal scorer on his team, not afraid to shoot, as you can see. I mean, 124 shots on the season, hits as well, 147. He's just absolutely unreal. And on that flip side, if Falun coal miners want to get the goals scoring starting to go, they got to look to Aaron's and Folpatoflin to really kind of take a step up.
We have the defensive comparison here next, as again, it is Poppin and Sebi Larson going up against Furion and Martindale. And Sin, I mean, a big struggle for them so far this season. Furion not playing every single game, of course. That's a presence lost on the blue line for the Falun coal miners. On the other side, though, the defensive combination, well, hey, it's been a jolly good time for them this season, hasn't it?
Yeah, they've been solid. And, that's something that you brought up. Furion, we've always kind of thought is more of a really good offensive defenseman. And the fact is, yeah, well, he hasn't played a lot. He also doesn't have a lot of points. He scored 4 goals, which is good. The assists aren't coming. And you got to kind of wonder, is that just him as an individual? Is that more of a team thing where they're struggling to score goals? Therefore, the defenseman off of those breakout passes and things like that, they're not going to get as many assists. It's hard to say, but no matter what, the Falun coal miners got to figure something out, because Sebi Larson and Poppin are doing really, really good for Vesa Pompa.
And of course, the battle of the goaltenders to cap us off here. Kosti against Eli Kamel. And again, Kosti's been a very welcome addition to this team this season. Really strong numbers. Story here, though, is Eli Kamel being over an 80% save percentage, given just how bad the goal differential has been for the Falun coal miners this season.
Yes, I mean, that's great for him to be at that nearly 81%, but it's that goals against it, and that's just the woes of the team. They're getting scored on, and they're not able to put up many goals of their own. Eli Kamel is a fantastic goaltender. He can make some huge saves for his team, but Kosti has been phenomenal for Vesa Pompa, and he's played every single one of their games as well.
As worth noting here, too, Police Control, the other goaltender for the Falun coal miners, 77% save percentage on the season so far. So it's not as if either goaltender has dragged the team down. They've kept them in it. But with that, we get a look here at the teams in the lobby. Again, Sin, basically what you would expect between the puck movers, the playmaker, the occasional sniper as well. But this is a big moment here for the Falun coal miners at this stage of the season, trying something different with Jay Toro at center. And hey, if you want to try something different, you can, of course, do so. sportsgamer.gg/showdown. All the information that you need, again, for our Finnish audience, the PS5 PlayStation Showdown 1v1 and 4v4 formats available, starting up This week, unbelievably, this week, it's here already. But hey, it's not too late to get involved. Again, sportsgamer.gg/showdown. And for now, we have a showdown between Vesa Pompa and the Falun Coal Miners. Vesa Pompa, again, trying to get that much closer to securing a playoff spot. And the Falun Coal Miners trying to salvage their season and make sure that they find themselves in the Elite Division next season without having to survive a relegation battle.
And I'm just going to point something out in the vein of trying something different. Furion is rocking a two-way forward build on the point with Shutdown. At least I believe it was a two-way forward. It might have been a two-way D. Either way, that's interesting. You don't see that often.
Right, yeah, regardless, you don't see that often, exactly. I mean, more often than not, you know, you see someone on defense, it's a puck mover. Unless you're my goofy self and you rock a 6'9" Chara Enforcer. But hey, the stick size is unbelievable. Somebody needs to give that build a try. 4 minutes gone here in the first period. And a penalty called here. As, well, stick size wasn't a factor there with a cross-check. It's going to get called regardless, and it's Falun into the box.
Yeah, so big opportunity for Vesa Pompa early on here to get an early lead with this power play. And I like it, you know, aggressiveness on the forecheck there. Just gets caught with one of those RNG penalties, and we'll be sitting for 2.
Big chance early on here, the power play. Keep an eye out on Ekin. Does have Big Tipper and Crease Crasher as a center, but a good job there by J Toro to clear it down. Again, that's going to be a featured part of this matchup. It's just what can J Toro do at center against a centerman like Ekin, who, again, 54% face-offs so far this season. Zovi to Sebi Larson. Patience here. And the shot wanted. That deflection in front, but good save there on the other side by Ellie Kamel.
Yeah, and I love that you pointed out, you know, the Big Tipper being used in the middle, because on the flank, on the wing, is Antonio with the gold 1T. So it's like, if you're going to, you know, cover that 1T and open up the middle, you open up the shooting lane for the Big Tipper to go to work.
Antonio couldn't get that shot through. It's cleared out. 25 seconds left on the Vesa Pompa power play. Ovi back to Poppin, he's pinching in. We are back to 5-on-5. Ovi, the wraparound, hit the outside of the post. Arden's able to take that one away. Here's J Toro now. Job by Sebi Larson, seals him out along those boards. Takes the puck. Antonio, man, and with a little bit of space to work with. Wanted the wraparound as well. Ellie Kamel makes the save. Up ahead, Popatofum finds J Toro in space. He scores! It was close, but it finds its way over the goal line. J Toro, first game at forward on the season, and starts off the scoring.
And I love how cleanly that penguin sound effect, or dolphin sound effect came through as well. A thing of beauty right there. Is that breakaway was a thing of beauty as well. J Toro getting a huge goal, just his second of the season, to put the Falun Coal Miners up top.
Somebody in Bikini Bottom was swearing up a storm. Maybe bet on Vesa Pompa in this one. But it is the Falun Coal Miners striking first. J Toro kicks off the scoring. And that is exactly what the Falun Coal Miners need, is to not be trailing the whole way through, get a lead, and then start, you know, being able to play that style of counterattack and making the most of it.
Yeah, but they do need to also focus on building that lead too. I mean, if they get caught in that trap of, you know, just hanging back a little bit too much, you know, eventually a good team like Vesa Pompa is going to find a way to break down your defenses, especially when, if you're the Falun Coal Miners, your defenses haven't been, we'll say, incredible throughout the course of this season.
Already halfway through this period, you see the face-off advantage. Well, no longer. Now tied as Ekin with a good chance. Stopped by Ellie Kamel. Antonio down low in the corner. And at the point, Seppi Larson the shot again, looking for Ekin in front. And I think there, I mean, it's tough as a center to square up because if you're too close, you got to start kind of going for the screen. Maybe a little bit further out for those deflections will benefit him.
Yeah, I think so too. That one was a bit unfortunate. He wasn't in a terrible position. He just deflected it right into the crest of Ellie Kamel, but they got full pressure.
The only way that deflection is going to go in, really, is if it ends up, dropping down to go 5 home.
Yeah.
Well, Tolfa takes a big hip check. They do wipe out the full pressure. Vesa Pompa, delayed offside call here. Aaron's able to pick that one up. Good movement. Jay Toro has it now. Aaron gets bumped off that puck. Rocketed down the other way. And icing is called. Very close foot race there.
Yeah, good job the body block as well by Martindale and Furion on the back end, not allowing, I think it was Antonio trying to make a break for that and get to the opposite corner behind the net where he would have a chance to nullify the icing.
Aaron's in control here, finds Jay Toro. Back and they score! Well done for the Falun coal miners. Out of, really what didn't look like much, Sin, and they find the way to score, make it 2-0.
Yeah, no, they found Aaron over there with a lot of space, and it was him picking it up off the faceoff. Excellent work along the half wall. Gets it to Jay Toro, who does beautiful little no-look pass back to him, and he has half a cage to shoot at. Makes no mistake, Falun coal miners pick up a couple in a row.
It's early. 15 minutes into the experiment. I don't want to say that they found something, but
they found something.
That combination, that combination's looked pretty good so far here in this first period. And a big play. Jay Toro now 2 points in this game. Aaron's his 13th of the season. Leading this club in goals, but another penalty called on the coal miners here will open up the door for Vesa Pompa, and it is Jay Toro, the centerman, going to the box for interference.
Man, that's unfortunately not what the Falun coal miners needed. As you doubled up the lead, you have momentum. Vesa Pompa comes back, they get couple decent chances here, and then you get called for the penalty right there in the slot. So see what happens here, but this is where Falun coal miners really got to buckle down and get to work.
Great opportunity here for Vesa Pompa. Furion does well to get it to the neutral zone. Martindale. What's up there? Popatoflin wanted to go back to him. Furion's got to be careful. He does lose it. Good pickoff by Martindale. Again, playing defense, but we know he has plenty of experience at forward.
Yeah, I'm just shocked that he was that far up the ice.
Up in the shot. Can't pick the corner. Dovey rebound, scores! Akin, right place, right time. With that crease crasher, close quarters, I forget which one it was, but regardless, he's not going to miss from there with that open of a cage, and Vesa Pompa are on the board.
Yeah, and just a juicy bounce off the rebound, too. Just right to him. Takes it off the hop and just has enough time to really dust it off and put that one home. So that's a good job to capitalize on the power play for Vesa Pompa here. And good, they capitalize on a mistake, and now Falun coal miners, they got to get back to work there. That's a heck of a one-timer from Antonio.
A few moments here. Vesa Pompa still in. Up and bumped off the puck. Tough break for Aarons. Couldn't get it in stride. Popatoflin couldn't hold it either. And that will do it. A strong start for the Falun coal miners, but a mistake late in the period opens up the door for Vesa Pompa to get back to within one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit the nail on the head right there. You can't take 2 penalties in a single period, at this level of play. Really, if you're sometimes you feel like even in a full game, you don't necessarily want to take 2 penalties. I know it, can be tough and things like that. But yeah, as you can see, it just opened the door wide open. So much time and attack from Vesa Pompa. A lot of it on those power plays there, especially that second one. And even leading up to it, they had a good bit of offensive zone time where they drew that penalty on Jay Toro there. So if you're the Falun Coal Miners, I mean, yeah, you have the 2 goals, but you got to get a little bit more offensive pressure. I mean, you've looked good when you've had it in the zone, and you just got to try to get right back to it and try to make some more of those plays happen. And to do that, you're going to need to get the puck out of your zone and back into the opposition's end.
We get ready for the second period here. As always, the action brought to you by our friends at Kovalan Lakritsi. It is the first game of 2 between Vesa Pompa and the Falun Coal Miners. And we continue our coverage of the ECL Winter 24 season. Of course, it's not 2024, but it is NHL 24. One-timer there, good save. The delayed call again against the Falun Coal Miners, unable to stay out of penalty trouble here. Vesa Pompa will have time. Doesn't look like they're going to go for the extra attacker. Foot race for the puck. Antonio tried the short side. Still has it. One-timer broken up. It'll be another Vesa Pompa power play. Jay Toro going back to the box.
Yeah, that's just not what you want to see, unfortunately. If you're Falun Coal Miners, it's just, especially after surrendering our power play goal in the last one. And interesting replay right there. I guess that's the infraction there. It's hard to kind of see as well, it was a cross check and we didn't get to see the stick, but nonetheless, Vesa Pompa another chance on the power play.
They can do. Movement to start. Off pass, penalty called. An equally damaging mistake as Ekin, I'm sure, tried to swing for the puck. It's too much of the opposition, and, well, it'll be 4-on-4.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, a bit of fortune, I would say. A little bit of a, yeah, definitely good fortune on the side of Falun Coal Miners there. That's pretty much the entire penalty nullified now. They do have to skate 4-on-4. We'll see what they can do with that much more space.
Furion able to find any room. Space here. Zovi has the breakaway. He scores! They didn't need the power play to find the equalizer. We're tied at 2, less than 5 minutes into the second period.
That's a mistake that we're not used to seeing out of Furion right there. As a defenseman right there, he commits and he turns the puck over. And that can't happen. If you're going to pinch in that situation 4-on-4, you have to do something with it. You have to make a pass. You got to chip that in a little bit deeper or behind the net, or you got to put a shot on right there. You turn it over. You put your defensive partner in a rough situation, and Martindale could have played it better as well, but that was a 2-on-1 that turned into a breakaway.
Offside call here, so we are tied at 2. The strong start for the Falun Coal Miners, well, has ultimately disappeared, and really since it's been their own fault with this penalty. You know, the penalty troubles, I should say.
No, absolutely.
Burns takes the hit. It'll be a 15-second power play here for the Coal Miners. Furion in front to Aaron's good save. Big chance there. Costi able to make the stop. Patience here for Vesa Pompa. Sebi Larson at the point. Working with Ekin. It's a shot through. Rebound was just out of range. Zovi still threw one on. Ekin over to Zovi, the backhand. Wild bounce there. Jay Toro having some trouble. Capped in by Vesa Pompa. Full pressure. Antonio, the short side. He had Zovi open. I thought what was a wide open 1T. I just don't think he saw him. Coal Miners will survive full pressure, but still this period it feels like it's been all Vesa Pompa. Here's Zovi. He's charging in towards goal and forcing a save out of Ali Kamel.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Just drives the net right there and gets the offensive zone face-off out of it, too.
There's some of the physicality. Face off here. I mean, Jay Toro's been keeping up with Ekin in this one. Wait, well, Pompa Tolfin, what a great pass to find Aarons. Has some space, he scores! And that is an example of some of the skill that you can find in this Coal Miners lineup. They regain the lead.
Great play right there. And as a great pass up to him as well, but the individual effort after that, it's a beautiful saucer pass from Pompa Tolfin, but I love that. Just head of steam, realizes he's not going to be able to cut across, just puts it on the forehand and goes far side. Beating Costi right there. That's a huge, huge goal for the Falun Coal Miners.
I don't know if you saw it, Sim, but similar to a goal from Connor Bedard in the past week or so. Just that quick flick to get it onto the forehand and just pop it over to that far side corner. Very, very well done by Aarons, and indeed now the Coal Miners regain the lead. Is another opportunity there. That one was blocked, though. Here's Jay Toro across. Pompa Tolfin denied. Didn't get all of it. As Pompa were caught on the back heel a little bit. Zovi, he's onside. That'd be Larson. It went off the skates of Ekin. Jay Toro has it now. He'll carry in. The Furion, who was out of the zone, so they'll have to reset. This time there as well. The ebbs and flows of this game. Back and forth so far. Jay Toro to the open side. Pompa Tolfin tried the spin. Martindale's there with him. Jay Toro wants to go back to Pompa Tolfin. Ekin able to pick that one off. Space? No, it's going to be towards goal. Out of the way by Eli Kamel. Furions. Pass was picked off. A scramble for the puck. Antonio Mannon. One-timer off the leg of a defender. And 90 seconds. Trouble there. Loose puck out to the corner. Pompa Tolfin. Furion. Aarons trying to hold on. Bumped off the puck. Dangerous pinch from Furion. But it worked out. Low shot. Stopped by Costi. Sebi Larson. Gonna wind down the clock. The Falun Coal Miners. Then it wasn't looking good for most of that period, but they will take the lead into the third.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting how that all works out right there. Be curious to get a look at the stats. I still feel like Vesa Pompa is going to have all kinds of advantage when it comes to at least time and attack, if not shots as well. But the Falun Coal Miners, they've just been able to capitalize on their opportunities, and that's important as well. You know, you can't just have the zone time, you know, have the chances and things like that. You have to be able to capitalize, and that's exactly what the Coal Miners have done so far in this one. And yes, indeed, they're doubling up in shots, and about 7 minutes to 2 something. I didn't quite catch it in time, but again, Falun Coal Miners are hanging around right here, and it's odd to say that a team's hanging around when they have the 1-goal lead, but it feels like this has been Vesa Pompa's game. But at the same time, Vesa, the Coal Miners, they have the lead, and they got to figure out a way to stay out of the box here in the third, though, for sure.
I mean, that's been the key, right? Is any momentum that they've built up, they have lost through these penalties. They gave up a 4-on-4 goal as well that had tied the game. Again, another goal from Aarons sees the Falun Coal Miners with a 3-2 lead as we start this third period. Again, just the first game of 2 between these two clubs. Very valuable points up for grabs, although for different reasons between these two teams. Furion will settle this one back. That's a Pompa, of course. Battle the clock here as well. Poppin's pass intercepted by Pompa Tolfin. Space now, Jay Toro. Just couldn't hold on to it. Still fighting for it. Zovi has it now. Weaves out of trouble. Up into Antonio Mannon, has space, went down, no penalty, it was off of contact. As opposed to a trip. Good spin by Furion to get it away. Aarons for Jay Toro, drop pass, miscommunication. Furion's there to recover. Pass in front, broken up by the defense. Game's opening up a little bit more. Not sure who that favors at this point, apparently. Vesa Pompa's the answer. Ekin has another one. We are tied at 3.
Well, that was an interesting goal right there. The puck bouncing around like a hot potato right there, and Ekin finding it on the back door, but it was a great rush play and a great zone entry right there by Vesa Pompas. Yeah, just careened around, hit a couple different things in the slot as well, I believe, before finding Ekin's stick. So, tie game here.
Ekin again, right place, right time. We are tied once more. Here's Pompa. Toflin tried to drag, couldn't get it on the defender. Antonio Manning. That one goes down low. Quickly now, Falun Coal Miners trying to get it going back down the other way. Jay Toro for Pompa. Toflin in the corner, off the skates of a defender. Coal Miners trying to hold on to it. Antonio Manning able to take it away. That's something both of these teams have, are forwards with that defensive experience. In theory, it should result in defensively stronger teams, but well, we've had 6 goals in this game so far. This one rocketed down. Toflin versus back to Martindale. Toro elects to go with it. Nowhere where he would have wanted numbers here for Vesa Pompa. Antonio Manning tried to go across the all-out dive to keep it away, and a glove save there. A tricky shot from Ekin.
Yeah, nice shot right there. That was a really dangerous situation that seemingly came out of nowhere, but it was just really bad timing as Martindale began to jump up into the play the second that puck kind of got turned over. He was caught flat-footed a little bit deeper than he would have wanted to, and it led to kind of a 2-on-1 there.
This one recovered. Vesa Pompa, 7 minutes left. Sid, if this goes to overtime, both teams earn a point and would battle for the extra one, but certainly both sides need to be looking for the full 3 points for a regulation win.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're not going to see either one of these guys sit back there. You know, Vesa Pompa, whether it's seeding or just staying in the playoffs, they want those points. I mean, you don't necessarily want to take on that first place team. It's definitely not what you want when it comes to the playoffs. And here for the Falun Coal Miners, yeah, you got to be desperate. You know, if you're going to end the season, you want to stay in the elite and not have to battle for your spot. You want to just earn it through the season itself.
And I mean, again, you know, at this stage, too, you talk about the teams at the top of the standings. There's really no easy matchup for the lower seeds. Ooh. Oh, my goodness. What an opportunity for Antonio. Just missed the cage. Is Jay Toro able to take this one away? He has the speed. Breakaway. It's knocked loose, and Costi able to cover. What a chance for the Coal Miners.
Huge chance, but what a poke. I think that was popping back there. Just knocking that one way in time, as you saw it as well. I think it was Aaron knocked away, I think it's Sebi Larson from the play, too, to try to give Jay Toro as much of a chance as possible. Really good job, but no big chance because of it. Good deflection opportunity there. It's blocked in front.
Never got to Aaron's chance now. Just over 3 minutes left. Vesa Pompa in the attacking zone. Martindale does a good job to win that one. Good patience by Furion. Sends it up ahead. No delayed icing. Sebi Larson to win the foot race here. Antonio in control. Again, it's only a real-time 30 seconds now, as opposed to the final minute, so less time to work with for these teams. Furion to Jay Toro. Has trouble. It's Vesa Pompa now. Into the attacking zone. Antonio to Sebi Larson. It's broken up. Pinballs around until Furion settles it down. Jay Toro holds on to it. Just has nowhere to go. Martindale able to get it to Pompa. Toflin. 5 seconds. And Vesa Pompa will slow it down. Both teams secure a point. And we'll go to overtime for one more.
Yeah, it was just crazy the amount of back and forth that were in that last 30 seconds, too. About 3 different changes of possession right there as they're both trying to stretch the game out. And That last one was close. I really thought Tolfin would be able to find a way to maneuver into the middle of the ice, either open up a pass or maybe even a shooting lane for himself too. But well played by Poppin. He's been very good on the defensive side in this game, especially considering he also has 24 points on the season coming in to these games. So good job by him. But overtime is on the menu. So unfortunately for both of these teams, really, but that's actually hard to say who it's more unfortunate for. That third also important point off the table, but for each of them, they at least secure a point. They have a chance for another one as well. They at least got something.
So here we go. Overtime for the extra point. Vesa Pompa and the Falun coal miners. A very valuable extra point, to say the least. Big hit there to start things off. Aaron's not able to recover the puck. Popping for Antonio Manning was poked away. Vesa Pompa will slow things down. Regain the zone here, but for how long? Sebi Larson. They do have possession. Antonio Manning on the off wing, working with Sebi Larson here. Tried to shoot it through the traffic, couldn't get it. Poppin recovers, trouble, still has it. Down low in the corner, double teamed. And Martindale is able to clear the zone. We're going to have a foot race for this one, no icing. Sebi Larson recovered regardless. Bumped there by Fopotofla and loose puck. Aaron's did well to get rid of it. Jay Toro to Fopotoflin. Gets through the traffic. The problem right now, Sim, for the Falun coal miners is they are constantly just being pushed to the perimeter.
Yeah.
They got to find a way to get to the dirty areas here.
Definitely. There needs to be a little bit more puck support, too, as Fopotoflin there, he bends back for the pass, but he has no one to pass to. Yeah, he maybe held on a bit too long. But, yeah, they seems to be a bit rushed. 2-on-1.
Don't get anything on goal on that attempt. But Toflin tried the short side. Loose puck that Costi was able to find and cover.
Yeah, you got to think they need to get something right there on that 2-on-1. That's why I'm always a huge advocate of the early pass, when you're in a 2-on-1 situation. It can freeze that defender. He kept skating. Sebi Larson came over and just stripped him of the puck.
Okay, Toro in control. It's another offside call here. Let's see who's able to find this breakthrough. We've had goals really occur out of nowhere. I mean, we've had this kind of stalemate pace before. Somebody will find this breakthrough. It won't be Vesa Pompa on that attempt, at least. They're offside.
Yeah, a bit of a breakdown right there, and what they wanted to do was two forwards were actually offside as Zovi crossed the line there. So we'll have to see, but yeah, it's interesting. The pace of this game is just all of a sudden sort of shifted.
Another offside call, case in point. See what happens here again on this face-off. The numbers have been close throughout the majority of the game. Jay Toro's done a good job of hanging with Ekin. Poppin able to get that one over the line. Antonio Manning down low in the corner. Sebi Larson for Zovi. Stripped of the puck by Furion, who turns it right back over. Sebi Larson held it too long. Aaron's off the play. Had to wait for help. And again, if you're Vesa Pompa, if you're the Falun coal miner, you got to get a shot off. You have to at least get something on net there.
Yeah, just trying to be a little bit too pretty, and I think they're a little too desperate for that perfect play that they're really just not taking it to the edges and getting going. Vesa Pompa is a bit more, but then they just try to force the middle, as you saw right there, instead of just going for a shot of some sort.
In the first matchup, the Straikers series with Mayhems, we saw a buffered shot from below the goal line. We saw a sauce pass that was on net that went in. We need more direct, attempts on net here, more shots. You're just not going to find that breakthrough. That goes for both sides here. And again, fancy play, but no finish. finish. No shot attempts. In
Can't
overtime.
expect a finish from the Swedes.
Yeah. Something's bound to go in, but not unless you're putting shots on net. We have 3 minutes to go in this overtime. Here's Ekin. Again, has a chance to shoot, doesn't. They do get a shot off there, but it's stopped relatively easily by Eli Kamel.
Yeah, Ekin's the guy who you want in front of the net right there, and he was behind the net on that shot from the point there, so not a huge chance that was going to find its way back in, but offensive zone draw now. Maybe Vesa Pompa has a face-off play up their sleeve. We'll see.
Face-off. Coal Miners in control. Risky play out there from Costi. Doesn't pay for it. Martindale. Good movement here. Fopa Toflin plays it down the boards. It's not there.
Yeah, no one was there, interestingly enough, and it's probably a play where you're going to have to slap shot it around so you guys have speed, but yeah, just neither team really seemed to know what they want to do, or at least are executing well enough.
Aarons can't get that shot through. A few attempts towards goal in this period. 10 seconds left. Will it be double overtime? Hop in. It deflects on net. The best chance of the overtime comes from a shot from nearly 200 feet the other way.
Pretty impressive. Hard to manage that in any sort of scenario, but yeah, weirdly just seemed like the styles kind of changed at the second we went to overtime there, is that it was less wide open. They were less willing to shoot, and they wanted that perfect one, that one perfect chance. And yet I didn't really see, at least from the side of Falun Coal Miners, they weren't really willing to cycle. Vesa Pompa didn't seem as comfortable as cycling as they did in regulation. They seemed to want to get it to the middle immediately there. So it's interesting to see the kind of psychology that overtime can play sometimes on some teams and some players here. But I mean, Vesa Pompa, with that time on attack, the shot advantage, I'm trying to remember what they had at the end of regulation, but I feel like they only got a couple in that period.
Here we go, the overtime, second overtime, that is, about ready to begin. Play until we have a winner, at least until, hopefully in the future, EA gives us different overtime options. Still love this overtime setup for the postseason, but I really would love a shootout. Or just diminishing numbers as a shot there. Why not go from 5-on-5 to 4-on-4 to 3-on-3, you know? Tactically have to choose who's still there, or if it's by default like a center and two defensemen, or a center, a forward, and a defenseman, then you got to worry about who's playing where. A lot of good possibilities, perhaps, in the future. Got to look there at the face-off numbers. Ekin and Jay Toro go head-to-head one more time, with Jay Toro getting the better of them. Coal Miners into the attacking zone. They do win the puck back. Pinch by Furion doesn't work out. Nowhere for Ekin to go. Opotoflin tried to throw it on. That was just a great defensive stick there from Ekin.
And what I'm seeing from the Falun Coal Miners in the offensive zone is that, I mean, on that last play in particular, it was Aaron's had the puck down low, sent it back up top, and then Furion does a smart thing, just sends it back down the boards, wants to work the perimeter, but Aaron's started to go to the front of the net, which is not exactly the greatest position to be in that situation. Two other people are around that area.
Door to Fopotoflin, Martindale back down to him. Aaron's nowhere to go. Ekin for Antonio. Hits the post with the shot. A great opportunity as the puck deflects out and over the top of the glass.
Just great singular effort by him, coming off of the half wall, just taking the lane to the net and nearly putting this one away.
Another shot there, does not go, but some momentum for Vesa Pompa. They nearly had full pressure. Pompa for Aarons. On net, Pompa the chance. Sounded like it clipped the post. This game's starting to open up a little bit. Not offside there.
That was a great chance for the Falun Coal Miners. Absolutely huge save by Kosti off of that second opportunity, too. I mean, to slide over and deny Pompa on that secondary chance keeps this game going.
Another face off here, won by Ekin. See what the Falun Coal Miners are able to do with this breakout. 1 point secured for both sides in this matchup. A very important point still up for grabs. Aaron's for Jay Toro. Can't hold it. Martindale. He gains the zone. Excellent pass attempt, at least. Jay Toro off the side of the net. Pompa and held to the outside. Loses it. Vesa Pompa trying to find some space here. Abby Larson. Hopping the shot, deflects just wide. Toflin pressured by the step up. Coal Miners still in possession. Martindale. They pop up to deep left center. Akin gets hit over the line. Sebi Larson, the spin. Can complete the move. Toflin for Martindale. Toflin to Jay Toro. Four and a half minutes left in this second overtime. That shot deflects wide. Leo down low. Goes all the way back to the point. Hopping, it's blocked. He had a man right in front of him. Sebi Larson does a good job of walking the tightrope at the blue line. Tries to again. Couldn't hold it. Pompa Toflin gets run over.
Yeah, nowhere to go. 3 versus 1 right there.
Hop and holds. Here's Zovi. And they score! Vesa Pompa secure the extra point with a double overtime victory.
That's just a great shot by Ekin. Maybe Ella Kamel slightly out of position, but it's good puck movement that kind of leads to that. You know, it's
the wraparound right here from Zovi.
Yeah.
I think the fear of that. He got caught over adjusting this to recenter, and that gave the space.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he hit the nail on the head right there, but huge win for Vesa Pompa and a huge extra point too. That'll help them stay in that left-hand side of the bracket and get a better seed.
The threat of the shot of the wraparound opens up space for a different shot. Vesa Pompa, 2 points in the books. For the Coal Miners, hey, you at least picked up a point, but they have to feel at least a little bit frustrated today. I think there was a good opportunity for them to get that win in regulation, and they kept shooting themselves in the foot with the penalties, primarily.
Definitely. Yeah, you know, the penalties really hurt them. And even though one of them was essentially canceled out by Vesa Pompa taking one quickly after that, I mean, Vesa Pompa were the ones who scored on the 4-on-4, so the more space out there seemingly benefited them as they capitalized with essentially a breakaway. And it's unfortunate if you're the Falun Coal Miners, but we're kind of seeing why they find themselves where they do in the standings here. It's just they're not able to get a whole lot of zone time. They defend okay at times, but a lot of their decision making in the neutral zone has led to some odd man situations and things like that. And you know, it's gotten them in a little bit of trouble, gotten them in the trouble in this game as well.
So a big win there. There are other replays to look at, but I think we can bring it back to the booth on this one. Obviously, we'll try to get back on track here after a double overtime game extends the schedule a little bit. But again, a big win there for Vesa Pompa in double overtime. Marathon Mondays, we've called it that in the past, and it strikes once more. We still have one game to go. We'll be back after a brief word from our sponsor for our final game of this broadcast. Stick with us.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody, we are back and just about ready to go. One more round between Vesa Pompa and the Falun coal miners. Again, Vesa Pompa getting the double overtime victory in game 1, securing 2 points as a result. The coal miners with 1. And I believe we have indeed an updated look here at the standings. So as things happen to be at the moment, Vesa Pompa jump up into 5th place. Obviously, they'll still have some competition from those behind them, particularly H-Reds, but they are just 1 point away from tying with Unwanted. So obviously, looking very likely to be one of the teams to push Unwanted further down. While the Falun Coal Miners, 5 games left, so a maximum of 15 points if they were to win every game in regulation. They still got some catching up to do, though, to get out of one of those potential relegation positions in.
Yeah, I mean, theoretically, they get 3 regulation wins. That would put them tied with the team in front of them, but, you know, they just haven't been able to really get that offense going the way they wanted to. We saw flashes of it in that last one, but they're lacking the sustained control, and at times it seemed to be a lot of miscommunication in the offensive zone about, you know, especially between defensemen and forwards too, which you have to have. You know, it was that one that Aaron skated out from where he was in the corner that I think was really stood out to me, because you want someone down low. You can't have everyone in front of the net, essentially. You know, you need someone down low to continue that cycle.
With that, we are ready to go. Puck drop time for the second game between these two teams. Another valuable 3 points up for grabs. See who walks away with it, and we'll see what the pace happens to be, as it was a pretty, you know, high energy start to this game, but things really started to slow down in those overtimes.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see if what'll happen here. You know, tough to kind of say, but Vesa Pompa, I mean, we're clearly the better team despite not getting all the goal support and allowing maybe a few more than they had wanted to. We'll see what they're able to do in this next one there. Nice shot and deflection
by Ekin there, and again, he was a little bit further out instead of posted up right in front of the goaltender. Here's Jay Toro trying to break through. It was poked away last second. Poppin in control. Foot race for the puck. Furion has trouble in the double team. Novi for Antonio. Aaron's able to pick it off. Antonio Manning. Sammy Larson walks right into the zone, avoids the hit as well, and can't hold on to it. Martindale turns it over, and Mr. Pompa will look to reset.
Yeah, seeing just a little bit of a scramble on the breakouts from the Falun Coal Miners. Just their spacing isn't super good.
Going to the point. Popping back down the boards. Mr. Pompa being held to the perimeter here. Up in the centering feed for Ekin, diving effort to try and keep it alive. Martindale recovers, turns it over. Sebi Larson back to the forehand. Has it again. They do get full pressure. One timer goes wide. Antonio Manning down low for Ekin now. And back to the point. They wanted that deflection. There's just no way that's getting through, though. Ekin the chance, can't hold it. Bouncing puck. Novi has it poked away. Sebi Larson. A-to-D. Up in the one-timer, they score. Antonio Manning found the space. Sharp angle, but made no mistake. Vesa Pompa strike first.
Beautiful play right there. Able to capitalize on the full pressure that they obtained, and it was just really good cycle work. And I mean, just again, just capitalizing on Falun Coal Mine just being unable to clear that puck out. That's as simple as it is. They stayed aggressive. They continued to win battles, and that's what led to that chance.
The early goal from Vesa Pompa. Poppin in control here. Mayhems back to the forehand. Opportunity there. Good look. Couldn't find the space at the end. Now 6 minutes to go here in this first period. Martindale has it knocked away. Poppin tried to send that one across. And another offside call here. Continue on. 4:43 to go in this first period. Poppin turns that one over to Furion. Martindale shot, he scores! Was just about to say how the Falun Coal Miners would love a goal. And Martindale finds one here in the final 5 minutes of the period.
And we'll get another look at it on this replay right here. Kind of seemingly coming from nowhere there, but it's a good intercept from Furion and the headman pass up the boards. I don't think he was aiming for Martindale right there. Look to me, he's trying to go back to Jay Toro, but Martindale will take it, and he'll take that goal. Big tying marker for the Falun Coal Miners.
Here we go. We continue on now in a tie game, much more similar to the pace that we had in the first game, of course, in regulation. Pompa going to look to get this one back. You're unable to take that one away. Quick movement here from the Coal Miners. Aarons doesn't quite have the speed, the energy, at least. Tofflin tried to make the move. Antonio Manning was there to take it away. Final minute of this first period. Poppin rips one off the post. What a great shot. One more chance here, perhaps, for Vesa Pompa. Sebi Larson over the line. Antonio Manning, the shot. Loose puck somehow. Does not go at the buzzer. Would love to see another look at that one. We end the first period tied at 1 goal apiece.
I'm not too sure if Ellie Kamel made the save on that or if it hit his own skater who was crossing in front of the net. Great chance, but winding it back a little bit further, I love that shot from Poppin there. Yeah, he had maybe 2 possible passes that he could make for possible one-timers, but love the decision-making, just ripped that on, nearly got rewarded with a goal on that one, but once again, Vesa Pompa firmly in the driver's seat, though this time, I would like to see a few more shots out of him for sure. With that amount of time on attack, I think they should be getting a couple more shots. I mean, credit where it's due, Falun have been pretty good defensively, at least being aggressive, trying to slow down the cycle and stop them from getting to those higher percentage scoring areas. But if you're Vesa Pompa, I think, you know, especially seeing as Falun Gold Miner scored on the only shot that they have, I think you want to start ripping that puck on a little bit more here in the next period.
There we go. Second period about ready to begin. As always, the action brought to you by our friends at Kovalon Lokritzy. Those just tuning in again, it was a 1-point split, a double overtime victory for Vesa Pompa in that first game. And an offside here early on. Again, 1 goal apiece in the first. As we get a look at the faceoffs, again, still relatively close. Jay Toro's done a pretty good job at center as we've continued on. Ovi not able to find any space to get that one over the line. Pop in, and Larson able to recover. Finds nowhere to go. Has it here yet again. And another stoppage of play.
Yeah, a little bit of a disjointed start to the second period here, but you could see Vesa Pompa trying to get back in that offensive zone, get back to work here and try to get this lead back here. I'm sure they're not happy about being tied up in a game where they've gotten the better of their opponents.
There's a big stretch pass. Finds Zovi. He cuts and he's denied. A gigantic stop by Eli Kamel off a great individual effort from Zovi.
Great individual effort by him. A heck of a saucer pass from Antonio to get it up to him. But yeah, that one touch into the middle and then got the shot away. Robbery by Eli Kamel.
Carry on for Martindale. Maybe a wake-up call here for the Falun Coal Miners. Turns into the corner. Tried to weave through three people. Jay Toro finds it in a big save by Costi. Second chance in front. Aaron swipes at it. And a couple of big saves in response by Costi.
Yeah, goaltenders was really being the stars of this period early on here. You know, huge save from Eli Kamel on one, and then Costi comes up with two big ones in tight.
Been able to send that one around. Movement here for Vesa Pompa to gain the zone. Zovi tried the net drive, and Eli Kamel was there.
Yeah, at least for Vesa Pompa, they seem to be trying some different looks here, like just trying to mix things up here to make sure Falun Coal Miners can't just sit on one opportunity. Nice move right there. Somehow finds its way in. Off the toe drag.
We've seen some bizarre goals tonight, haven't we? And Zovi adds another one there. Vesa Pompa grabbed the lead. Let's get another look at it.
Looks like just a toe drag that goes in 5-hole off a loose. Oh, yeah, and off of Eli Kamel's leg, which actually guided it into the net as well. But big goal for Vesa Pompa. Surely they feel like they deserve that from all the zone time that they've had.
2-1 lead now. Another goal for Zovi. Vesa Pompa have turned this game around. Shot, the rebound was there for Antonio, but it bounced off of his skate. As again, shot, scores! Pucks on net. Good things can happen. Antonio, his second goal of the game, and Vesa Pompa are up by 2.
He just seemed hungry on that shift right there to get a goal. He was hunting for the rebound, goes off of him. Didn't really seem to have his stick under control either. Just sticks with it, goes out to the high slot above the circles, and just rips it on. Off the post and in. It is now 3-1 for Vesa Pompa.
So they turn it around quickly, to say the least. The pressure now on the Falun Coal Miners here. Got to find a way to get their offense going, and they do! They score! On a great passing play, finding the man open in front, and the lead is back to 1.
They just continue to find ways to score in this set of games. It's hard to kind of describe, but that was beautiful. Starting down low, it's, you know, perfect little cycle play. Send it along the boards to a man down low. He kicks it into kind of the guy behind him who feeds it right into the slot. Aaron's had great body position on Sebi Larson to get that shot away, and they've trimmed the deficit to just 1 now. As unfortunately here, I believe a storm in the area has knocked out our play-by-play caster. So I'll take over from here now. As a good save had to be made right there. Face off one. From behind the net, a trip. That'll be Martindale heading to the box for 2 minutes. And that is not what the Falun Coal Miners need right here, is already a man sitting in the box. I do apologize as Tugi dropped out. There was a very large visual glitch and I didn't quite catch it, but a 5-on-3 now for Vesa Pompa. We'll see what they're going to be able to do here. Furion gets it off the face-off win from J Toro. He does clear that out. Poppin with the puck. Sebi Larson now. Nice pass over to Antonio. Lets the one-time rip, but it's a save by Eli Kamel. J Toro now feeds it up to Furion. Attacking, but surrounded by a bunch of black jerseys. Does a good job along the wall, but that creates a 3-on-2 coming back the other way. Antonio now with the puck. Trying to cut to the middle. Poppin. Looking to go behind the net here. He will get that puck back. Still a 5-on-3 for 10 more seconds. Zovi up to Poppin, looking for the one-timer. Good positioning there from Fulpatoflin. One man out of the box. Second one will be arriving shortly into the front. Eli Kamel will cover. Falun Coal Miners back to even strength here with 5:08 remaining here in the second period. Face off now. Antonio over to Sebi Larson. He still has it. Biding his time. Down to Zovi on the half wall. Kicks it behind the net. Antonio loses it. Fulpatoflin now. Looking to clear this one out possibly, but gives it to Furion. His pass goes awry. Vesa Pompa back in possession. Poppin has it poked off. That will lead to an offside here. 3:10 remaining in this second period. And getting text messages from Tugi at the time. And it's a full power outage in the glorious state of Maine right now, so not too sure if he'll be rejoining us at any point in this broadcast, but I will guide you through the remaining bits of this game. Fulpatoflin knocked off the puck. Vesa Pompa do clear the line. That's a good hustle from Antonio to get back across the blue line. Sebi Larson delays a bit too long. Loses possession. Poppin should be the first one back. He will, and skates away from dangers. Two forwards were bearing down on him. Good forecheck from J Toro, but Sebi Larson able to meander his way out of the zone, but poked away. Nice intercept there by Poppin. He can't quite get around Furion though. Falun Coal Miners looking to re-enter, but they get the puck stripped away immediately. Good poke on the line. Sebi Larson just can't hold that zone. Maybe one more chance for the Falun Coal Miners, but Zovi does a good job and will kill off the rest of the second period. So Vesa Pompa will take a lead heading into the third period, 3-2. And unable to capitalize on that big 5-on-3 advantage. They hope it doesn't come back to haunt them, but Falun Coal Miners looked pretty good pushing back at times later on in that period, but kind of broke apart there towards the tail end. Neither team really able to get an upper hand. But still a full 20 minutes to go in a massive 3 regulation points on the line. But you can see by the numbers right there, Vesa Pompa continuing to be firmly in the driver's seat, though would like to see them taking some more shots. You think with that time on attack, just having the 8 shots, you may want to get a few more on, especially when you're running Ekin there with the big tipper. You know, you'd want to see a bit more maybe D-to-D one-timers as well. Maybe that one pass to the guy and he just one touches it back for that one-timer can often be good enough to get the goal on its own. But when you have traffic in front, even more of a chance. So third period about to get underway right here. Vesa Pompa still nursing that 1-goal lead. And off the face-off, neither team able to get possession of it. Poppin finally does come up with it, and Vesa Pompa head back the other way. They may have numbers here. Ekin can't quite get the shot away. Good poke. Antonio hits the bar, off of that in-tight opportunity. A backhand shot on by Ekin. Turned aside by Eli Kamel. Falun Coal Miners coming back the other way now. Fulpatoflin gets drilled. And Vesa Pompa have possession once again. Antonio, nice cut move to the inside. Gains the line, but Ekin was covered by Martindale, who intercepted that puck. Falun Coal Miners now gain the zone. Jay Toro feeds it across and a big save by Costi. Antonio coming back the other way now for Vesa Pompa. Good dive play right there. Forces Antonio to go behind the net. Trying to maintain possession, but Furion does muscle him off that puck. Pompa now hits Jay Toro. Trying to go low to Aarons. The pass went through, but Costi reaches out the big mitt and smothers it. Time will start to become a factor quite soon. It is just only a 1-goal deficit. But another face-off one right there by Ekin has been the better center in this game, of course. Jay Toro, known as a defenseman from way back in the day, playing on, well, now Straikers. At the time was Linköping. Trouble in the neutral zone. Poppin gets it, has a man. Oh, that was beautiful! L-skate to the middle and buries it on his own using Antonio as a decoy. The 4th goal for Poppin is a beauty. You'll see it develop right here, seeming like nothing, but just a mishandle of the puck in the neutral zone, and Poppin with that back skate move fooled just about everyone on the ice. Put it home. Vesa Pompa have a 2-goal lead. We'll see what comes of it here. Falun Coal Miners need a quick response as a feed into the middle. Fopatoflin looking for Jay Toro. Jay Toro sent it down low. Nice give and go right there. Fed it through the 5-hole and it goes wide. Aarons now shot. Another big save by Costi. Furion on the point. Rips it on. Jay Toro rips it. Another kick save by Costi. Standing on his head, but full pressure has been mounted now by the Falun Coal Miners from behind the net. A battle for it. 4 bodies looking for the puck. Fokaptoflin comes up with it for a moment. And a nice job to chip it out by Ekin will relieve that full pressure. Less than half a period to go now. Falun Coal Miners misplay in the neutral zone, but Jay Toro does eventually get it over the line. And a beautiful play. Aarons to Fopatoflin, and he buries it. Falun Coal Miners cut that deficit down to just 1 once again. You'll see the pass right there, just around the feet of Sebi Larson over there, and it came from a broken play. Martindale got crushed. Jay Toro got crushed, but he successfully made the pass to Aarons, who fed it back across. Just a beautiful little bit of execution on what seemed like was going to be a non-threatening play. But they have now made this obtainable once again. 8.5 minutes to go, and they need 1 to tie it. Vesa Pompa in possession, but that is not what's going to get the Falun Coal Miners back into this game. In fact, it could have the opposite effect. Jay Toro will be sitting for 2 off of that trip in the neutral zone. A huge opportunity now for Vesa Pompa to regain that 2-goal lead. At the very least, chew a whole lot of time off the clock, but they want more insurance with the way the Falun Coal Miners have just continued to be able to stick around in this 2-game set. Face-off 1 back to Poppin. Sebi Larson now over to Zovi. Sebi Larson once again looking for that shooting lane. Tried to feed a pass through. I'm not too sure where he was trying to go with that. Went all the way into the corner. Antonio will collect on the half wall and get it up top. Sebi Larson shot. Antonio looking for the rebound, but it bounced just over his stick right there. It'll allow the Falun Coal Miners to be able to clear that one all the way down. 45 remaining on the power play now. Vesa Pompa does gain the line again. Good patience from Antonio up high in the zone. And there's that one-timer off the post. Zovi now trying to cut in front. Loses it behind the net. Antonio will get it in the corner. Kick back up top. Man coming out of the box. Gotta be careful. Jay Toro takes it away. Here comes Fopatoflin. Not enough left in the tank, but he drops it back to Jay Toro. Takes it into the corner. Shot from Martindale. Hits a body in front. Fopatoflin tried to feed that one in front. Looking for a streaking Aarons, but it didn't reach him. Zovi trying to send that one down low. Will collect his own loose puck. Sebi Larson activates. Antonio trying to get a shot away. Vesa Pompa killing a whole lot of time as that one slid dangerously towards the back of the cage, but here come Falun Coal Miners back the other way, fed in front, and a good save by Kosti once again, as Folpatoflin got that backhand off, more than likely looking for the 5-hole right there, but Kosti was able to squeeze it off. 2.5 minutes about remaining in this one. Furion's shot gets blocked. Folpatoflin goes down low. Aaron's trying to feed that one in front. Sevi Larson has it. He'll slow things down. Don't have to rush the breakout. Just make it clean. Nice pass right there. Ekin's going to have some space. That's a huge, huge poke from Martindale. Folpatoflin now. Head of steam down the right wing side. Drops it back. Martindale to Jay Tororen, back to him. Martindale gets crushed, though. Could be numbers coming back the other way. But Folpatoflin doing a really good job to keep up on the back pressure. Not a whole lot of time left. In front, Zoe scores! An exclamation point on this one. Vesa Pompa score to make it a 2-goal game once again with only about 17 seconds remaining. And that should just about do it. Beautiful saucer pass by the captain, and Zoe finishes it off. We'll see it develop right here. Ekin, that's just a beautiful no-look saucer pass. Can't say much else about that. 16.6 remaining. Falun Coal Miners need 2, but Ekin wins the face-off, and Vesa Pompa looking to maybe just kill the remainder of the time left, but they seem to actually want another goal here. Fighting behind the net. Furion is able to get that one out. Jay Toro has it. Is there enough time to make something happen? Folpatoflin's pass is blocked away, and Vesa Pompa get a huge 3 points in this regulation win. And that turns out to be a pretty good evening for them. 5 out of a possible 6 points with the overtime win and the regulation win. Falun Coal Miners getting just 1. So at this point in the season, it's probably safe to say, unless they just go on a tear, that they're going to be one of those teams, unfortunately, battling for their life in the ECL Elite Divisions. But good game all the way across in that second one. Back and forth once again, but this time Vesa Pompa able to get that late insurance, not allow the Falun Coal Miners to tie it. But that goal by Poppin was a thing of beauty, to say the least. Huge, huge, huge regulation win for Vesa Pompa, who are, again, pretty firmly in a playoff position, but you're battling for seeding at this point. And, well, when the top 4 teams are looking to be Straikers, Tunnel Vision, probably H-Reds with the game in hand they have, and then Jyväskylä, who has been phenomenal throughout the course of this season, seeing a bit of a resurgence in there. Are they, part of that the Goliaths? Who's to say? We'll have to see how they do, but either way, if you're Vesa Pompa, you want to get the best seeding possible. And for them, you got to be aiming for 5 to take on that 4 seed. You got to think. So we'll get a look at some of the replays here, and my favorite one from Poppin right there, somehow dodged the 2 bodies that seemingly were covering that left side of the net. I mean, a perfect play from all sides of it. Here is, looks like we won't get any more replays, so we'll be able to kick it over, maybe take a quick look at the standings here, or a look at me. That's okay too. But again, huge regulation win. Probably have to wait for that game to officially be reported to see the movement and things like that. But if you're Vesa Pompa, that's a very successful night. We will get a chance to see those standings. I don't believe that last game was reported, so they will leapfrog Unwanted, be 1 point below H-Reds, but good luck catching them, as they have plenty of games in hand. So Unwanted will continue to see them getting pushed further down. I don't foresee a scenario where they're going to get pushed out of the playoffs entirely. Trying to do some quick maths in my head. If Blackjacks get every single regulation win, still won't be able. I mean, theoretically, yes, but I might be 18. Yeah. I'm trying to quick maths, guys. It's hard with the new point structure. There is a chance that Unwanted could get pushed out, but very much don't foresee that happening. They will continue to get pushed down the standings, however, as other teams continue to rack up the wins, as Vesa Pompa just got a huge 5 out of 5 points and will indeed leapfrog Unwanted already. So they will be in that 6th slot. Falun Coal Miners come away with just the 1 point tonight. And with Poggers having a pretty good show of it, leapfrogging the Falun Coal Miners. So now if you're the Falun Coal Miners, you have to go past both Poggers and Goons to work your way out of that relegation position. It is going to be a very, very tough run of things to where they won't find themselves in a situation where they're battling for their life in the elite division. But that will indeed wrap things up for today's broadcast here. And we thank you very much for sticking with us. Of course, we're going to have the Pro Division Spotlight tomorrow and Elite on Wednesday as well. So for everyone here at SportsGamer, we thank you for watching. My name is Sin, and we hope to see you all with us again tomorrow.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.